We are here, Msafiri family, and today I am joined by a friend. By his name is Josh. He grew up in Kenya, or part of his story is in Kenya. But I'm excited to have him on the show today, just to hear about his experiences and really a little bit more about. His story. We would be doing live, so you'll be able also to see, all the, the little, behind the scenes assholes. But I'm excited. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, Msafiri Podcast. So, if you don't mind, just to introduce yourself a little bit for our audiences who might be meeting you for the first time.
So my name is Josh, official Joshua, of course, known as JJ, known as Kamau in Kenya. That's just my names, but I go by many other things as long as you are friends and aren't my enemy.
Yes. And thanks for bringing us some, we have some tea here.
We gotta have chai.
Lazima tukue na chai. It's really good.
I hope it's not too much sugar.
No, it's actually perfect. It's definitely just like the right amount. So
my wife said, make sure you take that with you, because at first I was like, don't worry about it.
Yes. We cannot do without tea.
Huh?
We cannot live without tea.
No.
Lazima.
Not if you're Kenyan.
Yes. So our audiences, some can speak Swahili, some cannot speak
perfect.
Swahili. So just slightly, we'll be sometimes mixing some Swahili, English,
I'll feel right at home
then. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Again, thanks for coming to the show. I had the privilege of meeting you and, through Jeremy. Yep. We also connected and we were able to have a conversation, obviously, and got to know each other a little bit more. But I thought your story was really interesting, and I thought that it would be awesome just to have you on the show, and so that we can also hear, because mostly we talk about the stories about the people in the diaspora, and you have been grown up good and part of your life in Kenya. I'm pretty sure too, you being here, you can relate with some of the experiences we as Africans experience when we migrate to United States. So that I'm not, taking over. I just want to let you have an opportunity to tell
maybe
our...
like a dateline, like start to finish, maybe, kind of?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Without those stories for now.
Yes. Okay. Just, tell us how you ended up in Kenya.
So, 1984, my parents were missionaries. We were supposed to go to Nigeria in 1982 because of a coup. Those doors closed. We went to Kenya, Nairobi in particular. I had just turned 6 2 weeks prior to that. So my 6th birthday came. 2 weeks later, we left and got on a plane. We did 18 hours. I met my 2 older brothers, my mother and father. And from 1984... till 2000 or 1999, I pretty much was there for all of my formative years of education and life. So from 6 to 1918, I was there in Kenya, in Nairobi, particularly a place called Buruburu, which is out by Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. It's next to Moja, Kayole. It's more of where the Mzungus don't hang out and live. They don't live. They live out in Garden Estate and Runda and the posh areas, Karen, those places, and that's not where our family lived. We lived amongst the people, not out like in the hills or anything, but yeah, we lived in Nairobi and lived in the hood.
Wow, so that's definitely your experience completely different, probably compared to some maybe other people who lived in a more high-end area.
It gave me the opportunity for. Huge one was speaking Swahili. I learned that at a very young age. My parents didn't speak it. My other family didn't speak it. But because we lived in the neighborhood we did, I got made fun of a lot until I learned how to speak Swahili and respond to those insults. So then I started, responding that way. And yes, I can change accents very quickly depending on who I'm with or where I'm at. So when we, I'll roll into the Swahili here in a second when I'm ready.
Yes. I hit some a couple pictures here you sent me.
Yeah.
So there's this one. I don't know if you can
That's
see
on
it
our
here.
court.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you guys playing?
We were playing a game probably, I don't think ilikuwa futa, I think ilikuwa tu chagua mtu unamgonga na mpira.
Mpira.
Just hit him with a ball. It was always, when I was young, it was center of attraction because
Yes.
people wanted to come up and scratch my arm to see with his red head.
Yes.
Scratch your head to see why your hair doesn't look the same as mine or whatever. And eventually that newness or whatever eventually wore off after, because we lived in the same house for 20 years. We didn't move. So I knew my neighbors from very young age all the way up through high school and university. And I still talk to some of those people today, now even. Like
Yes.
a couple hours ago to some, hey, I'm going to be on a podcast.
Nice. Let's take a look at another one here. What were you guys doing here?
So
If you,
my mission, my parents' mission work, this would have been like a 5-day or a Good News Club where we had a Bible story out in the front of the house. And then, obviously I was expected to attend it. There was no,
Yes.
I'm going to go do something else. So I always joke with these pictures that it's like finding Waldo. It's like, where's the Mzungu in the picture? He's right there.
Yes.
But yeah, I stuck out like a sore thumb all during my growing up there. So usually I wasn't able to do, vitumbaya, bad things with just, you had to, make sure you were doing proper things. Otherwise,
Sindio.
Joshua amefanya hivi, utafanya nini? Like, it's just like those kind of things that where you kind of stayed in a straight line, whether you liked it or not. You're always being watched.
Yes. And I think also looking at these pictures, by themselves, you can tell like you are really immersed in the local community.
Yeah.
Because it seems like majority, at least in these two pictures, you are, as you said, the only one.
Yeah.
Mzungu, if we can say that. I don't know.
Me.
Do you like that the one Mzungu?
No. So when I started growing up, I
Yes.
started let's say maybe the early 90s is when Shang was coming around. It was like your street Swahili.
Yes.
So there were a lot of terms that we would use that the Swahili Sanifu, the good Swahili, if you want, the book Swahili.
Yes.
Those words are not the same thing. So sometimes we did this because we didn't want our parents to understand our conversations. So even in Swahili, we would do the shang.
Yes.
The greetings weren't the same. Mama na baba, or mama na, your mother and father is not that any bude or made or whatever. You shortened things. You used English. You did all kinds of things to change the things.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't know who they were talking about.
Exactly. Well, we used to do the same. So I'm just curious. Being the one hold out, if for lack of a better term, growing up in that, you a little bit mentioned that you felt sometimes you're out of place. Would you say at what point did you start feeling like home and comfortable?
I would probably say by the age of 8 to 9, I started to feel like I could go to my neighbor's house at any time.
Yes.
My parents weren't worried about where I was at. Like, hey, they pretty much relied on my parents as being like one of them.
Yes.
Like, you're part of, we probably 40 houses in a very small area that were all tight knit, that grew up. Usually if you got scolded at someone else's house, you came home and you're getting scolded again.
Yes.
So you're being raised by a community,
Yes.
That's normal. It's not normal in the U.S.
No, it's not normal.
Far from it.
Sio
Don't touch my
kawaida, yeah.
child. Don't tell my child nothing.
Yeah. And in Kenya it's the opposite, and even I can imagine in those years in the 80s it was even maybe even more.
Yeah.
So
And my parents were okay with it.
Yes.
Yeah. It was
Okay,
like,
that's good, yeah.
Why don't touch my child?
Yeah.
What did you do wrong?
Yes.
There's another one.
Yeah. And I'm also assuming that, but by that age, you also had learned more Swahili, so at least you
Yes.
could.
I can start translating for my parents.
Right. Good. Yeah. and at least now, with other kids, it's there's more cohesion. Naweza wakusengenya.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a very huge turning point. Is once I started knowing. I mean, I have stories just alone of incidences of like at a hospital and I broke my arm, and this was in Mombasa, and we were at like Mombasa General Hospital, like the whatever hospital that's the lowly of the low, and was trying to get a shot, and the nurse and the doctor were trying to arrange a date for Friday. And I was telling my parents, like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm not getting my shot, and they may not be using a new needle, whatever. So they just like, where's a different hospital? Let's go. This is, and they didn't realize, the nurse and doctor were like wondering why we were leaving. It was like, you guys were trying to arrange a date. You were like busy doing that.
Oh, that's funny. Wow. What are some of the crazy moments that you remember growing up in Kenya? I know that's one of them, but
that's one of the few.
Yes.
So one day, I was with a buddy of mine. His name was Bosco, and I think tulila tao or something. We're going to town, and I was ilikuwa napeleka gari yangu, yani kama safo, nimeingia safari rally, and there was a police officer just said, they don't usually have traffic police. You just expect that someone motions you to come over, and you pull over to the side of the road, and if you choose not to, they usually will just write your license plate number down, and the next time they get you, now is really when you're going to pay them a bribe.
Yes.
So probably bribery is one of the that most Americans cannot understand unless it's political. There's no the way of life in many third world countries. I was just talking to someone at work today, Eric Rodas, and I said, in Guatemala, you bribe everything. You bribe this, you bribe that. Mexico the same way. Kenya, Nigeria, whatever. But this guy, I was like, I can't get a ticket on my driver's license. I had a Kenyan driver's license, and I still do. But he motioned for me to come over, and so then he got in the car. It's not American. Yes. And he drove us to the police station, which is probably another quarter mile up the road on the right.
How did you hop into your car, or they had their own car?
No, he hopped in the car. He motioned to come, and it was because I was overtaking people in the passing lane, like in the oncoming traffic. There was no one there at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, let me just go. This is stop traffic. Let me go. I had things to do. Anyways, I thought I was a Msafiri. I thought it was a Farrelly guy, whatever.
Yes.
And so then I just passed it. He motioned. He got in the car. I told my buddy, I was like, I don't need these. I don't know why they finding out about this. Like, how do we make this go away?
Uh-huh.
He said, utatoa tu kitu kidogo. Utatoa tu chai. That's the word, the phrase for bribe.
Yes.
Chai is what we're drinking right now.
Yes.
Chai is also what you give a police officer when you're trying to avoid, or anybody.
Yes.
You're trying to get your lights turned on from Kenya Power and Darkness is what we call them, but Kenya Power and Lighting. When you wanted them to hook your power up or reconnect your power or whatever, you made a bribe, and that's what would be how things would make the world go round. So the police officer gets in there, and he's like, so... utanifanyia nini leo? What are you going to give for me? What are you going to do for me? And I'm like, oh yeah. So I maybe had 1,000 shillings in my wallet.
Yes.
It's the only bill I had in there. We were planning on getting some change from someone. I was like, iko tu na hii thao. And he's like, okay. He takes the paper that he'd already written up, the ticket, if you will.
Yes.
And he just ripped it up, and I don't remember if he gave it to me or threw it in the rubbish bin, what he did, but no more. I'm just like thinking, I hope this just doesn't come back magically with tape and it just goes to the court, and now my dad knows what I did. Because he probably would have not let me drive. And that was one of the things I enjoyed thoroughly doing. That's what made me a good driver for here. Like very defensive driving. someone tries to cut you off. Here, I just pull over the shoulder and keep on driving. There's no, oh my gosh, tooting the horn. I do it here. People in Holland don't do it. It's considered rude.
Yep. Yep.
But those are some of the few things, like, you clear customs at an airport.
Mm.
And I've been guilty of it, to try to clear customs of getting my goods through. I came back when I was probably 16 or 17. I'd gone to the States for the summer, and I liked selling like electronic equipment, mixers and audio and car audio and that kind of thing. And I worked the summer. I had some money. I saved it up, and so I brought extra luggage back to Kenya. And when I got there, my parents were waiting behind those notorious white walls where you see your visitors come, and you greet them when they come in at JKI. And I cleared it with the guy. I was like, hey, I cleared it with the guy. I gave him some money, and he just said, all right, endelea. The one thing will say is, sometimes going through customs, and this was with my parents, is that you would tell them what they were there for. Like, you're saying, we're doing mission work. Oh, okay, you're missionaries? Go.
Go, yes.
If you're doing that kind of work, they didn't make you pay the duty, the tariffs, if you will.
Yes.
So they just let you go. With me, I had to give some money. It was that me too. Like, I had my bags full of goods to sell. That's what it was. So I paid the bribe. I went. My mom asked me, so how did you clear the security so fast? I'm like, don't ask questions, please. I don't want to have to explain to you, because you are completely against bribes. To my knowledge, my parents never did a bribe, whatever. I had other missionary families that would do it to clear their containers at Mombasa.
Yes.
Kenya Power and Darkness, to turn the lights back on. They would pay the bribe. It may not have been them directly, but it was someone that got that bribe into the hands to make things happen.
To make things happen,
So
yes.
sometimes I think that my parents could have had more done.
Yes.
But they chose to make that a life mission, if you will, to not do bribes at all.
Makes sense, yeah. And for the people who are watching online, it's the first time I'm doing like live recording. When I've done it like by myself. So let us know if you can hear us or you cannot, so that we are not here, you just guys seeing us. And do you mind testing one of your friends and say, hey, can you guys hear us? Just so we can get like a real quick feedback. We don't want to be here recording and they cannot. They just.
So my son's on here, and he brought that back from Florida when he went. He just took off school with his buddies, and he went down to Panama City near there, Pensacola, Alabama, on the Panhandle, and that's one of the coffee mugs. I brought it on purpose for him to see it live if he watched.
Here it is.
And he just commented that he's putting that new mug to use. LOL.
They can hear us?
He didn't say that, but let me see. He'll answer. Technology is what I'm going to go for next, because
yes,
it was a weird culture shock reverse. And so my older brother, who I not live with, but he's just over there.
Yes.
In Hamilton, where I'm at. And we have another nephew. So there's a few of us, family there, right there, close. But I went back in 2008, April, and my brother hadn't been back since 1988. That was the last time he was there. He graduated from school in 86, because he was there from 84 to 86.
Yes.
Did 2 years of school at Rift Valley Academy, which is a missionary school. That is a boarding school. People, 50 different countries that they use. But he hadn't been back since 1988, and the first time he back was 2008. So you can imagine, he comes back, it's 20 years later, and he's used to Nairobi, he's used to the Ushago, the countryside.
Yes.
From 1988. And I take him to one of these places, and we do some nyama choma, some roasted meat.
Yes.
Way out in the hills of Gong Hill, somewhere in there. And you can just see open plains for a very long time. And these Maasai, They're like a warrior. They wear red garb. They're highly regarded as fierce warriors. Some of the things they do are very, very like normal people wouldn't do that.
Yes.
They walk out there with their spears. A lot of them, they're just for tourists that they attract attention, get some pictures of them. They jump really high.
Yeah.
If you ever seen that movie, oh my goodness, Kevin Bacon's in it. White Man Can't Jump? No, I don't remember. It's a basketball movie in the late 80s, 90s. I think he did it with the Samburus or the Maasai.
Yeah.
Anyways, these guys had cell phones around their necks, mobiles around their neck, and we're in the middle of nowhere. We're like, this is just for decoration?
Right.
Until one of them picked up the phone and started using it.
Yes.
I was like, yeah. What is this? Like, this guy, we're in the middle of nowhere, and he's got a cell phone.
He got a cell phone, yeah.
That's 2008.
Wow.
Yep. And so it just was simple things like that were like really strange to see after, that. The last time I was there was 2018.
Yes.
2018, I was back there with my oldest son. I think he was 12 or 13 at the time, Jacob, and he had never experienced Kenya or Africa or outside the U.S. period for the first time, and he was enthralled. He embraced it. There was some stuff he slept through that I wish he was awake, but there was a monkey running around in our room in Mombasa, and he was half asleep. But yeah, there's things that I wish my family, that my kids, my 3 kids, could experience as I did as a kid. Grow up with that closeness, people looking out for you,
yes,
making sure that no harm is coming to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you live or whatever. Someone's hurting a child, they're going to get taken care of. They're hungry, they're going to get taken care of.
I agree. And if even the one of the things, as you said, just the ability of being able to, just going out with your friends and you're not worried about your parents are worried about you. At the same time, you have back in your mind that you just can't screw things up because somebody can tell, another parents can tell. Yep. So you kind of you already kind of learn from early on to kind of have some sort of self-discipline, and also a sense of, responsibility.
Yeah. I think it actually makes you more of a mature person quicker with that.
Yes.
You don't put yourselves into stupid situations.
Yeah.
Because the results are either you're going to be in really bad trouble by multiple people.
Yes.
Watakuangalia,
yeah.
macho,
yeah.
known as a tandikwa. You're going to get beaten.
Yep. Yeah. But also it leaves also room also for your own creativity in some ways because, somebody is not necessarily trying to control what you can do necessarily. You can be creative on maybe ataka ni kupanda miti,
climb a tree, yeah.
Climbing a tree, and just risk it and be just a boy,
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure ladies have a different experience, but pretty close. So I think the weather also makes a big difference.
A huge difference. So probably when I came back officially in 1999, a long time ago, when he was there, I used to wear during the winter from October to April, 6 months. I used to wear a pair of sweatpants, joggers, whatever you want to call them, and a pair of jeans all winter long.
All winter long, yeah.
Now, after 20-some years, I wear shorts to work in this 30-degree weather. And people look at me strange. I'm like, I don't know. It's just, my body is finally acclimated to the cold Michigan winters.
Yeah.
We're not in Florida, but you were saying the weather in Kenya, that was, 60 to 80 degrees all year round. Fahrenheit, of course. So you have to figure the Celsius out, your guys' self. But the dry, not humid unless you went to Mombasa, but it's the perfect weather all year round.
All year round, yeah.
Maybe it gets to 50 and you just start a fire outside. I don't know.
Yeah.
Put a jacket on. Drink some chai. I mean, usually you just get warm with a chai or something.
No, that's true.
This cup looks small. It's because it's my mother's cup. I'm drinking it out of memory of her.
What was your mother's name?
Sandra.
Sandra.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nice.
he passed away in 2007.
2007, yeah.
Yeah, November. Yeah.
You know, when you mentioned the police wali kunini, they pulled you over.
Yeah.
I thought that was the time that you told me you went into jail.
No, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. How did that
Yeah,
happen?
anything I said, you please just feel to bring it up because I've got so many memories going on right now that I
Yes.
don't remember them. I'm like, okay, Nimandika notes, like these are notes. I
Yeah.
don't even know if I can. There's parts of them that are there. So,
Yes.
anyways, the date is very clear to me because it was July 4th of 1996. That would have put me at 16 years old.
Yes.
During that night, yeah, there's a person's name that's familiar now. Bosco, again.
Yes.
So a lot of my friends when I was in my teenager years were 10 years older than me. I just, maturity level, just latched on to people that were older than me than my age mates, if you will, the people that were same age.
Yes.
So when Bosco and I were going to the shops, to the store, probably a 5-minute walk. And it was probably 8 o'clock at night, so it was dark out already. He needed some cigarettes. No, I don't smoke. I never have. But have I tried? Yes.
Yes.
And he needed some cigarettes. And his cigarettes, it was the 4th of July, so I had one of these briefcases with used to put cassette tapes in them. Yes, the 80s, 90s, we used to have cassette tapes. And I had barutis. Those are fireworks for you people, bottle rockets in particular. So I would just take one out every once in a while, and I would light it on the street and go down sailing.
Yeah.
So fireworks are illegal in Kenya. The only time that you can do them is during Diwali, is usually Christmas, and it's an Indian holiday, and those are when those fireworks are permitted. But me, I've had them all year round, kind of like I do now. And I was lighting them off. This isn't the reason for the jail, but it was one of the reasons why we got caught or whatever, reprimanded. I don't know. So we're walking, and we got around a corner, and I could see people being marched, like probably 10 people, 2 people side by side walking, and then I saw policemen because this is dark. There's the street lights are usually not there. Someone broke them so they could do some crimes or whatever. So the street lights is very dimly lit.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh no, these are police officers.
Yeah.
And so then I went to a bus stage. It's like a bus stop there, and there was a cement pillar like the bullards, so you don't like run people over. And I remember just walking up to it and trying to take that briefcase and stick it in the deep grass, and like, they won't see me. It's dark outside.
Yes.
Let me just leave these here and hope for the best.
Yes.
I don't need these. I don't need to have these on me when they arrest me.
Yeah.
Because I'm really going to get in trouble now.
Yes.
So I like dropped those in the grass, and the policeman said, "Hey, wait, let the yopia." I was like, "Oh no, they want me to bring that with us." All right, so there's the evidence.
Yes.
So I bring my briefcase with me, and so what they did to, there's 10 people. Police officers usually have 1 or 2 handcuffs. That's it.
Yeah.
So what they usually made you do is you took your belt off, and they would yumshipi, and they would put you with the next guy, and that was your handcuffs, so that you wouldn't run off.
Yeah.
But I'm like, the guy has a gun. It's an M16.
Right.
Would you really want to chance that he might not shoot you? This isn't America.
Right.
They're probably going to shoot you, or maybe he doesn't have bullets. I don't know.
You don't know.
But you don't know.
You don't want to take a chance.
You don't want to take a chance.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a number that maybe it'll be a very long time before someone finds you.
Yeah.
And so I just this isn't good. And so the police station of that area, area of Buru, was probably a half mile away. So we walked there. There's probably 20 of us. And now we get to the police station. Now it's, it's still dimly lit, but there's lights so you can start seeing other people like, oh, hey, so-and-so. I'm 16 at the time in an area with like 250,000 people. Still, people know who I am. Not because I'm notorious or I'm bad or something. Just people know who I am because that's like the only white boy is in the area.
In the area, in the neighborhood, yes.
House number 978. He lives in house number 978.
Yes.
So we get to the police station, and I'm just like, mind you, like for the last 3-4 months in the newspaper. Yes, they have newspapers in Kenya. The Daily Nation, in fact. I still read it daily. They had it where police officers were literally in every precinct were just arresting people so that they could get bribes. They would just arrest you. Loitering was what I was charged with in the book. There was no court case or anything, but I'll get to that.
Yeah.
But loitering was what it was, not the fireworks.
No.
So really it was like, we just want some chai.
Yeah.
That's all we want. They don't say it, but if you have it, like,
Yeah.
I don't remember if I had my wallet on me or not. But again, because my parents told me we don't do bribes.
Yes.
And this was before the airport. This was before my first bribe. I was like, okay, I'm not doing bribe just out of principle.
Yes.
I'm not going to pay someone to be released now in 5 minutes. I've done nothing wrong. Because at that point, I realized that they weren't arresting me for those butterworties. They weren't arresting me for the fireworks.
Right.
They were arresting me because they wanted a bribe. Okay, fine. We'll play that game.
Yep.
So I go inside, and I had on a rugby polo shirt, blue. I think I got it from one of my older brothers, white collar.
Yes.
Blue, dark blue, long sleeve. I had camouflage pants on. Those are also not allowed in Kenya. Camouflage pants, military, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's no hunting
really?
gear.
I didn't know that.
So that's illegal, unless it still isn't. But yes, you're not mjeshi, you don't get to wear those pants. So
Wow.
if you're not a soldier, you don't wear those pants.
You don't want to get to
My
it.
pants
Yeah.
were American from my brother, who was in the Navy, but those were tan pants. I believe I had combat boots on as well, tan combat boots. But I had like a small Swiss Army knife on me that had maybe a little, like a $30 one with a few blades in it. And I had that in my pocket. I also had a watch that my dad had just given me probably 6 months prior.
Yes.
It was a diving watch that he had had for like 30, 40 years.
Mm.
And it was one of those metal ones where the band expands as you, like, depending on your wrist. So you could just kind of slide it over. There was no clasp. There was no little hole. It was just expanding. You just kind of adjusted it for the right size of your wrist, and then you would wear it.
Yeah, I know
like,
those. Yeah.
I'm not getting this back. There's no way
You're getting that back. Yeah.
So what I did, Kijanja, is I took, because I had a long sleeve on, I took that thing and I slid it all the way up my arm. Because before I was like, what's going on here? So I just kind of surveyed what the people were writing their names in the book. And then who are you? What's your house number? What's your phone number? Da, da, da. So I'm like, I had a little bit of time to do this because I was like, okay, the watches are coming off. They're handing the police officer the watches. They're putting them in this box at the front counter. Like, yeah, this isn't coming back.
Get it back.
So the Swiss Army knife, it's like, it's not really a weapon, but I don't want to lose that either. My brother had given me that one. So I took that one and I don't remember if I stuck it in my pocket or I don't know. Anyways, they never confiscated those things. I had a long stocking cap. And at the time, there was another gentleman from Egypt. So he was red hair, light-skinned, because Egyptians are almost Arab. He was very light-skinned, and his name was Bolo. Now, he was a guy that was doing bad things, like bugging people and doing things around Buru. And he, listen, are you Bolo? Are you Bolo's brother? No, please don't. That's an insult. Please don't call me that. So that guy's name, okay, we stopped that conversation. And then I had the watch up here, and then what they did is I had sandals. I didn't have combat boots. I'm sorry. I had sandals on with socks. It was a thing in the 90s. It's back now. The kids are doing it again. It used to be like, that's what Dad does. Don't do that. So anyways, I had my Birkenstock knockoffs or whatever, and I had socks on. And I was seeing people take off one shoe and put it in this cubby box in another room next to the front office where they were writing names down. Mind you, where's my box of fireworks? It's still in my hand.
Oh, man, yeah.
So I don't want to appear at that desk with these in my hand.
Yeah.
I take them, and I put them at the very top shelf. I climb the shelf, and I climb up, and I put them on the top shelf. I was like, you know what? If I leave those there and never come back, I don't care because they don't know who they were.
Yep.
Because the police officers that arrested us, they went right back out to arrest more people. There wasn't a, this one did this one did that. No. It was, like I said, it was just a pure bribery thing.
And
they went right back out.
Once they get you, they know their colleagues would do the rest of the job.
The colleagues would do the rest.
Yeah.
Loitering. That's what he did. So just cha-cha-cha, that's what you write, the end of story. So I get there, and now I have nothing to declare, if you will. I have no watch. I have no Swiss Army knife. I already put my one shoe over there. I took
Yep.
one of my socks. I put it up here. I said, that's for later, in case my feet get cold or something. I don't want to be walking around barefoot without my socks. So now they write me in, and I very clear to them. I said, here's my phone number, 796485. Please call this number and tell my dad I'm here. Because at this point, I'm like, it's not because of the fireworks. It's because you want to bribe.
Yep.
So I'm not afraid of being arrested now because the fireworks are safe.
Yep.
And so I was like, all right, whatever. So then they escorted us into a corridor in the middle, and there was probably like, at that point, maybe 100 people. It's probably 20 feet by 40 feet. So not huge.
Not huge at all, yeah.
Not huge at all. Still like little security lights, a little dim. There's no like spotlights or anything, just dimly lit. And so now is when I realized that A, I'm going inside, but B, there were people there that recognized me in a good way. They said, okay, sasa umlami akondari na sisi, wananichi. He's one of us. His people hasn't come and picked him up.
Yep.
He's here with us.
He's with
And then they said, that's so messed up. Like, we expect, the policemen to come and collect people and then get the bribe. But they're like, they got the white boy. They got the Mzungu. They took him in as well with us.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. But I'm safe because I have people that recognize me.
Yep.
There's nothing's going to happen to me in here. So we get inside, and now is when they shut the door. And now we have 300 people inside. There's no benches, there's no chairs, no nothing. You're sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
I'm still with Bosco. I consider Bosco my bodyguard that night. And so probably every so often you would see someone take out a match and light up a cigarette.
Yeah.
When I watch Afegi. And you would see just the glow of ice, and then when the cigarette would go out or the match would just go out, it was dark again. There was no lights inside.
No,
so you just see glowing eyes everywhere. You're like, because at first you're like, okay, you're just kind of stumbling in there, and you're like, hey Bosco, where you at? You're like just like playing hide and seek.
Oh my Lord!
And then so you get in there, and now you're sitting down. I'm sitting in front of Bosco. He's behind me. And there was a podcast you mentioned of a chokora, like a like a street kid.
Yes.
Be like street urchins, whatever. They don't have money. They live on the street. They eat on the street, whatever they can, scraps. They live on the garbage, that kind of thing. There was one of those in there. And he didn't know who I was. And he started to try to, like, bring me problems. Unbeknownst to me, all of a sudden I hear someone being thrown in the bathroom that I couldn't see. Pa, 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 pa.
Oh no!
And that was it. He got like tandikwan. And it was. They're like, "Who are you trying to mess with?" Like it's this guy, Joshua. So he didn't know, and that was that. I never heard anything about it again.
Yep.
But that was like people were looking out.
They were looking out for you. Yeah.
So then, the most. Probably the smell. The smell was probably the worst thing, but after a while, your nose just gets burned from and the smell was the urine. The cho is just there. The cho is
right there, yeah.
There's a movie that was on Netflix a couple years ago, and I don't know if it was called The Nairobian or the. There was a shot. They shot on a prison or in a jail. The guy was cleaning the floors. So he'd come from up country, and somehow he ended up in jail. And I'm less like, I paused the scene. I was like, that's exactly what I was in. Exactly what I was in. And so the smell after a while, it was used, whatever.
It does,
smells
like
urinal, just like really bad. Like ammonia, like hits you hard. So probably an hour or two in there, I just go to sleep. I go to sleep. I'm just sitting on Bosco's chest, just sleeping. And then every once in a while you see the light come on or whatever. Then probably like, maybe 10 o'clock arrives. And, hey, Zungu, come here. And they're mostly getting a knock at the front metal gate that they got us in.
Yeah.
So I go up there. I'm like half asleep at this point. And they escort me to the front, and I see my dad standing on the other side of that check-in desk.
Yes.
I was like, finally,
Yeah.
I'm getting free. I'm going home. And so then he's with one of my age mates, the father. We had these like chairmen of the court system. Like we paid security fees. We had 40 people who paid security fees, and there was a chairman, a co-chairman, a secretary, whatever that. So he came with the chairman and to the police station. And my dad's like, did you arrest him for, something bad or whatever? No, he was just loitering.
Yeah.
Fireworks again, were never mentioned.
Yep.
One of the real reasons I was there.
Yeah.
And he just he was mad.
Yeah.
My dad was mad.
He was mad at them.
He was mad at them.
Yeah.
He's like, he's 16. I just said, everything's fine, whatever. I didn't freak out or nothing. He was like, okay, you'll do your job as a father and get me out.
Yep.
And so when he left, because he had brought a picture in of me with this guy, and they had gone around the neighborhood at like 9 o'clock saying, "Where's Josh? Where's Josh?" He didn't find me, so he took the chairman and Mr. Kimani, and he went to the police station and tried to get me out. Well, didn't get out. He went home, and he called the embassy. And they have like a 24-hour line or whatever. A Marine answered it and said, "How dare they?" Da, da, da. So then he says, "We don't have a driver." He's like, "I come and pick him up." So he drives from Buru all the way to the Gong Road there by Nyayo Stadium.
Yes.
And he drives there, gets there in 7 minutes, and usually takes 30 minutes. Anyways, it was 10 o'clock night. There wasn't much traffic on the road. He gets there. He picks up this lady that works at the U.S. Embassy, and he brings her back to the police station. So I get called out again. I was sleeping. I wasn't. Anyways, so she gets to the front counter with my dad, and they try again to get me out. Mind you, no briberies took place.
Yes.
Probably would have been just simple and
it's over. Yep.
Game over. I would have been gone home. But no, out of principle, no briberies accepted today.
Yes.
None were given out. So anyways, maybe they left, and then probably 5:30,
they left
6
without
they
you.
left without me. So 6 o'clock rolls around, the sun is almost up, and all of a sudden I get "Hey, Mzungu, where utenda, where torokapa?" So get out of here.
Yeah.
So I get to the front. I'm like, fireworks are up here. My sandals still there.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Yeah.
They seemed pissed off that they were letting me go.
Yes. Maybe they were expecting a
Maybe
heavy
they were
one.
expecting the chai. Maybe they took the bribe to the Mzungu, but today they weren't getting one.
Right.
So I climbed up to that little thing, and I got my fireworks. I brought them back down. I took my shoe, put it on. Mind you, when you're in jail, even for 6 hours or 8 hours, however long it was, your whole clothing and your body is now you've been sitting in ammonia. You smell like makojo. You smell like
smell really bad, yeah.
Yeah. So I walked home. It was a half mile away. I walked home, and I was avoiding people because I'm I have to be smelling.
Yes.
Some street person. And so I just kept to the side to the left and walked home. I got to the back of our house, and there's a fence there. And I'd okay, these fireworks, let me just... I tossed them over the back, and then I came to the front of the house. I climbed over that fence, and then I came to the front door, and I knocked on the door. Because you lock your doors there. You don't just walk in.
Right.
So I knocked on the door. "Oh, thank goodness you're home." The lady from the embassy was there. My mom was there. My dad was there. So they started asking, "Did you have the bad things happen?" I'm no, everything was fine. And they started asking me questions "Let me just go to the shower now. What's in Ikuoge?" And he's in nukasana.
Yes.
These clothes smell, and I need to take a shower. That's the first thing. My mom wanted to go and hug me, but I'm like, no. Let me just do this first, and then we can hug. So I went there, took a shower, and then came in, and the embassy lady started asking me questions this, what's your age? Taking all this stuff, and I'm thinking, what is this gonna do? There's nothing this is gonna do. We're just doing a formality at this point.
Yep.
I was just like everybody else. I was you wouldn't do anything because obviously all you did was make a few phone calls and someone was okay, this dude, you need to let him go.
Yep.
I don't know who you called.
Yep.
But that's what happened. So it was the story. It was July 4th, '96. So when I went to school the next, I don't know, the end of August, I had the story because nobody else had that story.
Yes.
But yeah, that was my time in jail.
Wow. I can only imagine. I've never been to jail in Kenya. Or I've never been to jail at all, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be. That's the last thing that I want. But I know the thing about chai or bribery is like real because I've had my instances whereby when there's something done, and you try to talk just like normal. Normally you expect the services to be offered to you. You are a Kenyan, nothing happens. And then I remember one time my cousin comes in and just, he was like, you don't know, the way. And he bribed them within 30 minutes. Service offered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your services are like, you wanted your phone connected, you wanted a power reconnected, you wanted a cargo container connected, you wanted your license plated, you wanted the driver's license. If you didn't want to come back multiple times at someone at the post office, wherever.
Yep.
If you just gave a bribe. Bas. Endelea na maisha.
Endelea na maisha, yes.
Go on with your life.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you think is there corruption in the United States? And if it is it like different? How does it
Not
look
with
like?
police officers.
Yes.
Not for you and me.
Yes.
Not for you and me. Like if you offered it,
yes.
you'd be in handcuffs.
Yep.
I mean, so that's the thing. Like, if you're a drug dealer and you know someone at the border or something like that, you're gonna have, but that's a lot of money.
Yes.
If you're political, there's bribes involved. I mean, the U.S. government in itself has these lobbyists, or what they call, for the term.
Yep.
And they, there's this term that's pig something, but they literally go to senators and things and like, hey, if you give us this, we'll get all these people to vote for you.
To vote for you, yeah.
Pass you. That's bribery in a
is,
nutshell.
Yeah.
It just may not be looking like some money was passed at that point, but it was.
It was, yes.
But there are people that pass politically. But it's for you and me. Well, I want to need you. No, we're not. We're low on the totem pole. We are not getting away with bribery.
No,
we are not making the internet go away or go faster. Or they look at you like, what are you trying to do here?
Right.
Sinupatia tu kitu kidogo.
Yeah.
Ikituende haraka.
No, it's not gonna happen. What do you think causes the so much of chai kidogo in Kenya?
Yeah. So part of why I personally never got angry at it, and I think my parents did, but they also kind of realized on a side note that if you understand how much a police officer is paid, or the person at the post office is paid, and it's very little for what they do.
Yes.
You now understand that it's a necessity of making extra income. Not necessarily that the government doesn't know about. That's not the point here. The point is, like you have a side hustle here and you got to claim taxes on it. That's not the point. The point is trying to provide for your family in any which ways that makes it easier, a shortcut to do it, and everybody does it, is what you do. You provide for your family. So, like, literally, you'll have a bus route. And we have these buses, big buses, 60 people, whatever, when they're not packed. And then you have matatus, which are another form of transportation. It's like a school short bus, if you will. It holds like 20 people, and they cram it with 50 people on a regular occasion.
Yeah.
Loud music, graphics, the whole 9 yards, kind of cool. And they will stop these matatus and buses that they know, based on their license plate, that they need to pay them a bribe if they want to continue their route for the day.
Yep.
So, like, a matatu might go down Route 59 in Buruburu to city center and go like 30 times in a day, like back forward, and paying passengers to there and back there. And while they're doing that, there might be one time a day where there's a traffic police officer that does you the little hand motion, like, come on here.
Yep.
And you slip them the little money, like you just hand them your driver's license, and you just kind of, he opens it up and pretends he's inspecting it.
Yep.
And then he puts it in and he takes it and he pockets it. Like it might be $1 for every, which might seem a little bit here, but if he does that like 100 times, you made $100 in a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not there were a few traffic police, and they usually made the newspaper if they didn't accept bribes. Like they were the 1%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are the ones you just didn't try to, but you knew who they were. Like they were known. Like, hey, he sits over here, and that roundabout 7 is where he hangs out a lot. So there were honest ones that did not take bribes.
Yes. No, I agree. Like the pay is not the best, and if you have kids that are in school, high school or college, or even primary school or elementary, and you want to pay school fees for them, and you know that because in America, I believe a lot of public schools
Are free.
They are free, and for majority of the time in Kenya, you have to pay, except for a little bit when Mwai Kibaki was president. That's the time we had like free
education.
Education, but otherwise you have to pay, and so I think some of these officers or these civil servants, sometimes they are forced to do it. Is either the salary can't really take care of the family and also, pay for school fees and all these other needs. So it's like they have to do what they gotta do.
Bringing that into there's a word that you asked me today, and it was grateful.
Yes.
Gratefulness, grateful, however you want to phrase it. And I had to realize this. You have people here, some places in the world, but primarily here. This person will have a job. 40 hours overtime, maybe not overtime. Anyways, they have a job. It's paying well. They'll complain to you that they don't have, that they have this job. They'll complain to you when they don't get the overtime. But then they'll complain to you when they're working overtime. It's like, so you have the 40 hours, you have the 50 hours. You're not happy one way or the other. You're not grateful for the job you have. That's how I interpret that.
Yep.
So, Yanni, you just, you're not grateful. And I was realizing, I don't understand. I don't think that people understand. I think we have like a 3 to 6% unemployment rate. Sometimes it's climbed to like 12 in the U.S.
Yeah.
Times are really bad.
Yeah.
I said, but when you have a country that has 50%, half that are unemployed, the police officer, the whatever, the civil servant that's accepting bribes, that's because it's the only source of income he has, and he's relying on that. That's his extra money.
Yep.
But the unemployment makes Nairobi is one of them. It's very coined being unsafe with muggings and just people stealing stuff, phones, cars, you name it, whatever.
Yes.
And people steal that to make money. And sometimes you have to look at the wheezy, the thieves, that they're trying to provide for their family.
Yes.
And that's how they're doing it. It's the only way they know how.
They know
I'm not
only
saying
way.
It's right.
Yep.
But that's how they're being the 50% unemployment, but they might not have a job, but they have a job.
Yeah.
It's taking your car parts
and
reselling them to someone on River Road.
and the other thing as well is when you have such a huge number of unemployment, you may find that these people, let's say, for example, a police officer, he may be provided for his family, but also if his neighbor is also suffering, most likely in one way or another, you find that affecting him. And so maybe sometime a pay sugar, yeah, exactly. And then the other thing is, at least for a lot of employees in Kenya, they get paid towards the end of the month.
Yeah, a monthly salary.
Yeah. So if you get your salary and by the 15 imeisha, it's gone by 15. So now you have from 15 all the way to the 30th, or maybe or the next to fend for yourself. Yeah. So then becomes extremely hard for them.
Yeah, I just thought of something. My parents would say something about salary, and I didn't quite grasp it. But you just made, and I knew there were some people that had the 30 days and they get paid 30 days, and they got to make that stretch. One of the foods that was brought up to stretch the week was sukuma wiki, which is collard greens.
Yes.
You would have that. You had meat in it if you had some money.
Yeah.
But usually that is you could grow that stuff anywhere on the side of the road, but it is so tasty. And so that was to push the week. That was kind of stretch the money. You can make that meal go for a while. You might have it every day. You might have a
Yes.
smugali with it too, with another cheap meal that usually went with the sukuma. But that's basic necessities have to be met. So
Yep.
you figure it out. And that's probably one of the gratefulness things that people from here don't understand.
I agree. Yeah.
I think people that even have been in Kenya, grew up in Kenya, whatever, they started their life in Kenya, and they come here, I think they forget about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, believe
Like
me.
it's just like,
yes.
not my problem anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you with you on that one. Even there are times that I'm like completely forget, and sometimes I have to check myself. And I think it's just a human thing.
It's human nature.
Yeah, it's human nature. You move to an environment
where it's provided for.
Yes.
You're kind of provided for.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you are in Kenya, or even when you go back to Kenya, you know a lot of shops in Kenya, they have the Kenyans price if it's in a shop, and there's the tourist price.
Yes.
Or the komzungu.
Yes. So usually that was like what you're saying is like the shops like you would for. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes.
Like curios or knickknacks or some batiks. Batiks are like these oil paintings on canvas, or it depends, papyrus or whatever. But they would give you the price of, and this is the best part of Kenya, one of the best parts is the negotiating.
Yes.
You can go into a shop and you can see that it says 3,500 shillings. 130 shillings a dollar right now is what the exchange rate is.
Yeah.
And you can go in there and you can see that every single thing in there says 3,500, 2,500, whatever.
Yep.
And you go to the shopkeeper and you say, can you do better for me? Like kilo.
Yep.
Just something small.
Yep.
And he's like, no, I can't do it. You can go to the shop next to him with the exact same thing, and he has maybe his price is 4,000 shillings, so he's even more.
Yep.
And you walk up to the shopkeeper and you ask him, and now he comes down to 2,000.
Yep.
He said no on 3,500.
Yep.
At the other shop. Nope. And you walk to someone at 4,000, and now he's at 2,000.
Yeah.
Just by negotiating.
Negotiating. Yeah.
If you don't negotiate in Kenya, you're getting taken for every single time. And,
Yeah.
and it's not
You
like
will pay
people
way
here
more.
hate it. They hate car shopping. I
Yeah.
dealt with it for 12 years. And I was just like, for me, it's no problem.
Yep.
And it's like, everyone's got to have a win situation. Or you basically say, Sitaki Leo, I don't want it today.
Yes.
Because, yes, the color of your skin makes it where people think you are loaded with money. You're ready to spend money. You want to buy everything, whatever. I don't know.
Yes.
But going into a shop and negotiating, even when the price says, sometimes you'll see it says fixed price.
Yes.
But yes, when you said about the prices for tourists and the national locals that have an ID card that says Kenya, there is a different price.
Yeah.
This is what's messed up. If you go to a hotel by the Indian Ocean, there's a tourist price and there's a local price. In 2018, I went back and I got the local price.
Yes. Nice.
Partially because I didn't tell them who I was and I had my buddy book it, book
Yes.
the rooms.
Yeah.
And then when I showed up, they tried that nonsense. I was like, all right,
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
going to leave.
Yeah.
And then, no worries.
Yes.
But like, it wasn't trying to, it was like, I know what's up, what's coming. And it's just like, is it fair? Because like, you'll go to the game park and it'll be twice as much money for the same entrance for someone that's not there.
Yes.
And then usually, like, I'll just speak some Swahili, pull out a driver's license that says Kenya, and they'll let me in at a local price.
Local price. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
When they know you're like Wananichi, they'll usually accommodate for you.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they're
Absolutely.
not like, okay, this guy knows. Maybe he just leaves and then doesn't spend any money with us.
Yeah.
Or he's just like, he's one of us.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure even be able to speak Swahili also helps a lot.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I always laugh, like, well, how do you say phrases for like hello, or, how do you order food or something, or hi, like kwaheri or habari yako. And it's like, when they know you speak Swahili that's from the street,
Yes.
they really know who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, if you went to Tanzania, it might be a different story, because
It may
they
be
might
a
not
different
understand
story.
what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yep.
Because the Swahili is different. Sanifu, it's
Yeah.
the pure Swahili, and Kenya's is not, depending on where you are. If you're in Mombasa, yes. But
Yes. at one point I worked as I was dispatching, freight dispatching in the United States.
Okay.
And with the freight if you're dispatching, you're negotiating loads. You have to negotiate on the phone. And it was so easy for me to do it because I already done like bargaining in Kenya.
Yeah.
So it's like that was like really good skill that came in handy for me. Like you're able to be able to say like, this is my price, I see this mouse and I want this pay, and you can negotiate it, but like I can't go below this amount.
Correct.
And just having that ability, to say no, or to say no, come, like go lower. It came in handy.
Yeah.
It came in, and there's a lot of negotiating in freight.
I've heard that many times.
Yes.
People that are in that business, that the negotiating skills come in handy.
They come in handy. Otherwise, the brokers will take advantage of you. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's either you fight for yourself because nobody will fight for you.
No. It's a cutthroat world.
Yeah. So, Josh, what are some of the values that you gained while you are in Kenya that when you moved back here to the United States still remained and stuck with you, and you will never even want to let it go?
There was one thing my wife and I talked about I believe it was last night, and it was empathy.
Yes.
Yeah. Being empathetic towards someone. And we talked about this, like, how you would get like maybe a puncture, a flat tire on your car.
Yes.
In Kenya, usually someone will be coming there and helping you. The guy there walking on the side of the road.
Yeah.
No, mind you, there might be a guy that's looking to take advantage of the situation, but
yes,
usually there was someone. Yeah, don't get one at night. There's someone that's trying to help you.
Yes.
And they're not always looking to get money from you. They just see that you're disabled.
Yep.
They want help the best for you, whatever. And they don't care if you're rich or poor. It's an empathy.
Yes.
The same thing here. Like, I find myself sometimes that I will turn the car around and go and see if that person needs help. But nowadays it's becoming like, if you do that,
yes,
now they think you want to do bad things to them.
Yes.
So now you're like, okay, now what am I gonna do? Like,
yeah.
You want me to call someone for you? Like, I could have this done in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Because I've done it where I'm waiting for the line to come out, and I need to change the tire so I can continue my journey.
Yes.
And I can do this in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes.
You're gonna wait half an hour for AAA or whoever you have, or an hour.
Yeah.
I can do this in 5 minutes. Blindfolded, whatever.
Yes.
It's quickly, but that gratefulness is gone.
Yes.
The empathy towards someone is gone.
Is gone. Yes.
There's certain, like, the value of being. I was just telling Jeremy this the other day. Relationships that have, you're not fake.
Yes.
You're real. And I find my wife and I said that when we were growing up, we had so many fake relationships. And it was basically because we were told or we were expected to live perfect lives, or if you do this, so-and-so will tell someone and we'll have to get sent back to the U.S. Our mission trip will be done.
Yes.
So we were on our best behavior 95% of the time. Tell you doing butt-o-tees or whatever. But anyways, the point of it is that you can't continuously live your life fake. Eventually you crack.
Yes.
And the realness comes out. But the people that you are, that are still fake, they're still going to be fake. I don't know what they're living to that standard for or why, but they know themselves.
Yes.
Makes them feel good. I don't know. But that's probably one of the best things that I have the relationship with my wife, is that we're very real with each other. And having the relationship with Jeremy is also why I value the relationship I have with him.
Yes.
It's because I don't have to be someone else.
I don't
have to be a fake person. I can just be myself with him, and he and his wife, and that's good, because those are the kind of relationships that you're not being. You think that you're going to someone's house and you're okay, but you're actually stressed. By trying to put on a show, put on your fakeness, and put it on, and you're actually you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. You're exhausted because you were faking it. So
Yeah, it just weighs on your shoulders.
Yep.
But definitely, yeah, empathy is I think is a good value.
Oh, one more thing, resourcefulness.
Yes.
That is probably one of the things that here sometimes it's like, okay, do you need to save this? Do you need to save that? Do you need to save this?
Yes.
It's ingrained in my head. It's ingrained in some of our heads that grew up there that you may need that for something, or someone doesn't have that. You could use it for something, or you could give that to someone.
Yes.
Here it's throw it away.
Yeah.
And but yeah, there's certain values that Americans, people from a first world atmosphere will never understand. You can explain it to them very well, but there's no way to grasp it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you can say it all you want, but no one can fully grasp it.
I agree. And yeah, it's you mentioned about even I guess I just trying to reverse back to something to do with empathy when you said about you can find somebody who clearly needs help, but sometimes you're kind of confronted that you could want to help, but it can also be misjudged.
Yeah.
And the person can feel not so safe, and so it can become like extremely difficult for somebody who genuinely they want to help, but at the same time striking that balance, not knowing how the other person will take it. But it helps a lot because let's say if you're in Kenya, this is kind of the culture. People do it. So
it's expected.
It's expected.
Right.
Yeah, it's expected. Is there, when you moved back, I know you slightly mentioned this, but is there anything something else that when you moved back to United States, that the way you live your life, people who are having traveled really have a difficult time understanding you?
Yeah.
And if so, what is maybe some of those things?
Sometimes it's as simple as a self-entertainment.
Yes.
And my wife and I are very good at that. We're two peas in a pod. I started.
Yeah.
Our journey started when we were in first grade, 1985, all the way till now. We didn't meet until 2014, 2015, and actually April 2015. Let's be exact. So because we've had very similar lifestyles in Kenya in our upbringing, there's a common bond that we understand each other because of how we were brought up.
Yes.
Where I sometimes can't explain this to anyone, like what we're feeling or what we've been exposed to, because it's very difficult.
Yes.
Like, emotionally, or you'll never get it. You just it's kind of that way. And there's a connection between her and I that I feel blessed because I've been able to have that open communication.
Yes.
Be myself. I'm not being a person, and you should have in every relationship be yourself. But there's sometimes, we both said it, like when we were with other people, our relationship was fake.
Yes.
So but with us, we're not fake.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't cause the emotional stress, when you're dealing with other things in life that you're like, oh, how will they think if I act this way? No, it's not there. Oh.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like similar experiences, especially for spouses, it comes in handy. I can't imagine being married by somebody who doesn't have similar experiences.
Yes.
That will have its own challenges.
Yeah. So I don't want to put this down the path of religiously thing, but I'm going to kind of give a comparison.
Yes.
It's like being unequally yoked. It's like you having someone from Australia marry someone from the Arctic Circle. Yes, it's two vast extremes. I get it. But when you have two people that have a very similar background, have very similar beliefs, they're not bound to have the bickering and the disputes and the arguments in their life because they already see eye to eye on a lot of things, even though they may not have religion in their life at all, or they've chosen not to.
Yeah.
And they may have chosen not to because of their past. and they've decided to go down the path, but they're still
Mm.
equally yoked to the point where they feel like they're honest with each other. They're on the same wavelength. And sometimes it takes time to do that.
Mm.
But it's like, how often does an arranged marriage work?
Right.
Or because it's expected, or that's because our families, had a dowry or whatever, basically a bribe for your wife, whatever you want to call it, dowry
Right.
is. But yeah, there's those things that you just, it's unexplainable.
I agree. And I want to shout out to Jeremy. I know you mentioned Jeremy. I want to shout out to Jeremy because Jeremy is a good guy, and when me and him were colleagues, he was somebody that I can talk to.
Trust.
Yeah, somebody that I can trust, and so I just want to shout out to him. And
he's what made this happen.
yeah. He also made this happen. Yes,
he took one dinner.
Yeah.
He thought it was just nothing. We're gonna try some. It was supposed to be Ethiopian food.
Yes.
But we don't know what happened to that man. We don't know what happened to that brother. We hope he's okay. But his shop, his restaurant, we don't know what happened. Like, I hope ICE didn't get him or make something happen. I hope the best of him. But we ended up at a Nepalese restaurant, which is close enough to Indian for me.
Yes.
And I love Indian food. It's probably my favorite. If you told me let's go to Indian every week, I would do it. Like every day, I would do it. I could become.
I agree.
You said, here's your diet.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. No.
100%.
No, that was yes. That meal we did was really delicious.
Yeah.
And
so on that note,
yes,
the son that had that cup,
Yes.
that cup.
Yeah.
So he was in the National Guard doing something for the weekend, and he joined us maybe a few minutes later.
Yes.
But he had the butter chicken.
Yes, I remember that.
The three of us had the lentil curry for some reason. It was very tasty, as I agreed. And the naans that always go with it. You always have a naan.
Yep.
And he had the butter chicken, and I didn't. I had ordered it to take home or eat some of it,
Mm.
and he got so sick.
Oh, really?
The chicken was raw. And he didn't realize it because he was tired until the end. He had 2 days off. He had a day off of school.
Oh, no.
He had a day off that night. So I won't recommend us going back to that restaurant.
Yes.
Sorry. Because he realized at the very
Yes.
end, after he was like finishing the last bite,
Yes.
it's covered in that sauce, that the chicken was raw.
Was like raw.
Because he's been
no.
in the kitchens before where he's cooked and line cooked and all that stuff.
Yes.
And he's like, man, I was just so tired. I just was eating. It was good, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, he got food poisoning really bad.
Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
But
yes.
yeah, he got sick, and I was like, well, the lentil curry tasted good, but the butter
Yes.
chicken, no more.
No more. No
and
more.
mind you,
Yes.
it wasn't quick service, so it like took
No,
us,
it took
took
some
a long
time.
It was like, how do you not cook the chicken?
Right. No, yeah, we were there waiting for quite some time.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
almost want to do a shout out of where it was so people know not to go there, but I will leave it alone.
Yeah. Yeah, but for some reason, yeah, the Ethiopian one, it looks like they closed for some time, but
And you find out from your friend sometime if he's the guy you had on here the other day, if he knows if that guy's okay or is on the show?
oh yeah, I need to follow up with him and
or
check.
he's got a recommendation.
Yeah.
Have you had Ethiopian food? Maybe, not sure.
Not sure.
It's no.
Wait, no, I have.
You had like the
I've had it.
injera
Yeah.
thing
Oh yeah.
that looks like a bandage.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's another one of my favorite foods.
Yeah, back then, I think around like 2017. That's the first time I went to that restaurant.
Did you go to that restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's the one I've known for like 20 years that's been there, and that's
Same
I'm like,
here.
I hope the best for him.
Yeah, that's the only one that I know in this area. There could be another one, but
There's one-
that's the only one I know.
But like if you go to DC or you go to Detroit, like those
Mm.
populations, and that's the cool thing about growing up in a bigger city is that
Yes.
you have the diverse cultures,
Cultures,
diverse
yes.
food. It was like I've worked at a few different jobs since 2000, and usually the places that I work that have a minor, if you will, even
Yes.
though they're 95% of the workforce, Latinos in particular, Boar's Head, I feel more at home or at ease being with a minority culture, if you will,
Yes.
than being with my own
Mm.
by skin color. But yeah, I feel more at home. I feel more myself even being in the minority culture than I do being a bunch of people that are from West Michigan.
That's interesting. Is it what What do you think is the reason?
I think it's my upbringing.
Yeah.
Like even my wife,
Mm.
she would rather go to something that she doesn't speak Spanish or doesn't speak the language,
Yes.
like myself,
Yeah.
and she'd rather go to that than she would like
Right.
the Dutch parade
Right.
or something with it. She knows that there's just going to be 95% white people. We would rather not go to that.
Yes.
We wouldn't feel at home. We'd be like,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
we feel out of place.
Well, do you know, now that you mentioned that, I don't know if you guys know, but in August we have a glimpse of Africa.
Yeah, you mentioned me that.
Yeah, yes. So it's organized by a Kenyan. She's the CEO and founder. Name is Frida, and you can find it online. But we have a major event coming up in August, and basically, you have all the different. The program has different activities. First of all, you have like different vendors who come in with the different kinds of food. So you have they also have like people from the Caribbean also come to be part of it. So you'll find like Jamaican food there, Ethiopian food, Kenyan food, you know, so people making Ethiopian coffee, you know.
Yeah. I think I brought you some today. Yeah.
You did, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh?
Some Burundi coffee.
Yes.
So you would ask me, I think maybe about, I told you I got someone coming back from Kenya.
Yes.
And I seem to always have a Kenyan connection, someone coming or know of someone coming anyways. To my sister, Carla, this is pertaining to you, I said, I need to get David something. And I asked you, what do you want?
Yes.
I couldn't. At first you told me, no, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I'm good, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, whatever. And so then the next day you texted me and you said, I really want some Kenyan coffee.
Yes.
In my mind, when I texted you, is how I paraphrase this, is I know a guy.
Yes. Yes.
Me.
Yeah.
So probably since I moved back, if it's some way, shape, or form of Kenyan tea, Kenyan coffee, Kenyan chevda, anything that I can promote, not because I'm looking as a business, it's just proud.
Yes.
I sell the chevda at work. I sell the coffee. Used to roast it like regularly. So it's not just the green beans. I get the green beans from another guy in South Bend. And when the first time like 50 kilos is a lot of green coffee.
It's a lot,
for a guy that's doing this as a fun time, a little bit of money on the side. And I was like, I'll just turn this to a BS shotter. Okay. And I was doing it in the early 2000s, and I was like, I got to find a source so I'm not paying a lot of money for, I need a 50-kilo bag.
Yes.
And this guy, Kevin Coyers at Theta Ridge Coffee, I called him, and at this time he may not be like a one-man business show, whatever. There may be more people. But when I called him, he answered the phone and he introduced himself. I said, I'm looking to ship it to Holland, and what's 50 kilos going to cost me, at that time. And I said, well, have you been to Kenya? Then he started telling me, and this guy had gone to Calvin or Cornerstone. He'd been in Grand Rapids. He's from Grand Rapids.
Yes.
He had been to the farms. He had seen the plantations. I'm like, okay, this guy's the real deal.
Yep.
If I'm going to spend money, I want to buy this from someone I know has been there.
Yes.
They know where they source the coffee from.
Yeah.
So I started buying coffee from him, and that's usually who I go to unless he's out. But at some point, I had wanted to come up with a coffee with another buddy of mine, like coffee house or roasting coffee.
Yes.
And we could never come up with a name from a disagreement. And probably one of the reasons I was like, if I'm opening this business and it was my idea, and you can come in, promote it, or do your thing. I said, I want to call it Powerhouse Coffee. And he couldn't concept why.
Yes.
I said, well, because the majority of those coffees are coming from Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, and Ethiopia.
Yep.
Nowhere else.
Yep.
I don't want Brazilian. I don't want Colombian. I want those powerhouse places that their GDP is, 40-50% of their export is coffee.
Yeah.
Because if you've been doing it that long, in my book, you have something that is top notch, and you sell it.
Yeah.
And that's why people want it. Whether you take it and you mix it with like Kenyan tea
Yes.
has been around for over 100 years. Most English tea, if you didn't know this, actually has a blend of Kenyan tea in it.
Yes.
They might call it English tea,
But
whatever. But the Brits, when they colonized Kenya, they took that and made it their own.
Made it their own.
Way.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So tea, coffee plantations are great, but sourcing that stuff from there makes me feel more of a part of supporting something that I know is not just me buying it on Amazon.
I agree.
But there's other things but the same thing you do here with all the red tape from the government is sometimes why I'm just like, that's a too easy.
Yeah.
Let me just forget about it. Like, I don't want to get into it that much, so I got to go do a license for roasting coffee.
Right.
So I just do small batches, and I do it to my friends and people that I know really like it or want it. So
if somebody wanted coffee from you, how do they get it? Do they have a website or?
I do not have a website. It's all word of mouth.
Yes.
It's old school. So it's usually like put my phone number down and contact me, kind of tell me where you came from. Because, the thing with, you said in a podcast the other day about your people back home, how they see a business venture.
Yes.
And the one thing that Kenyans and Africans and people that are over here living their lives is that someone's contacting them and saying, here you are. What can you do for me?
Yes.
So it's just like, okay, there's someone from here that's living in West Michigan, wherever they're and they want some coffee.
Yeah.
It's like you put my contacts there, contact you, and we go through this. We kind of weed out the, I don't know this person.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, because we all try to do that incognito thing where we're not available, especially, it's just,
yes,
there's a little bit of privacy, but I like doing it where, it's a small batch for someone and it means a lot to them.
Yeah. If you need coffee, reach out to me. I'll connect you to JJ.
You need Kenyan Chevda as well.
Do you have any samples?
I do.
That you can show us, please?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. It's like a Kenya snack or...
Okay, so the story on this Chevda is that usually you can get this in Grand Rapids in the Indian Pakistani form.
Yes.
But Kenyans, largely influenced by Indians,
yes,
within the early late 1800s, 1900s, railway, blah, blah, blah. They make that their own. So the recipe usually that you'll find with Kenyan Chevda and Indian Pakistani Chevda is not the same.
It's not the same,
I can pick that Chevda up in Grand Rapids at the Spice of India or something on 28th Street.
Yep.
Just down from the BMW dealership.
Yep.
I buy a lot of spices from them. I bought the Indian Chevda from them. It's not the same.
It's not the same,
So this bag that was made on Limuru Road, Red Hill, tropical heat, straight out of Nairobi, Kenya. I mean, it's so official for nobody that's ever seen this. It's got all the calories, it's got all the ingredients, the whole thing. It's not just some bag and someone slapped a label on it.
Right.
So yeah, these big bags are about 200 and these are 1,000 grams. So you're got a kilo bag there.
Yeah.
I think the biggest bag they sell on Amazon is like 340 grams. And it goes for $30.
$30, yeah.
Yep. So something like that, I usually can get the same bag for a kilo for, $35, $40. But what I do with like those small snack bags at work is I just package them.
Yes.
Yeah. Package those in like ounce and a half. Sell them for $1 or $2 a piece.
Like $1 or $2.
Yep.
All right,
no one wants to spend a lot of money at
that's
one
true,
time.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I can do it. And then so these beans right here.
Yes. I mean,
these are
bring
Kenyan,
this closer.
These are Kenyan beans. They're green beans that have not been roasted yet.
Yes.
And like Burundi, Tanzania, Rwanda are all places that have. I don't know if you knew this about the reason why Kenya AA is actually the reason why they call it Kenya AA. Do you
no,
know?
I don't know.
So the coffee grading system of the size of the bean is how AA is. It is for export only.
Yes.
If your bean doesn't match the size, it goes like A, B, and it goes based on the size of it. If it doesn't meet that criteria, the Kenya Coffee Board doesn't let it export. So the reason that's why the majority of your Kenyan coffee always has a double A behind it. It's export only.
Yep.
The other stuff that we drink there in Nairobi is the stuff that nobody wanted.
Yep.
The coffee that didn't quite make the cut.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, that's the grading on there. The rest of the world, I don't know how to do their coffee grading because the beans I have from Rwanda and Tanzania are usually a lot smaller.
A lot smaller. Yeah. Let me take a look here.
And the nice thing about that stuff is it does keep for a long time. So so here's the other thing. If you're watching this and you want an explanation of how to do this yourself, you could start like doing it. You could start. I could have you do this yourself inexpensively. It's the initial startup cost of the roasting machine. You're looking at probably like $300.
Yes.
And then you're at mercy of what it is currently. And geopolitics does a lot with current events. Has a lot to do with what you pay for your coffee. Rain, drought, that has a lot to do with what you pay for your coffee. But you don't have to pay Starbucks prices to get Kenyan coffee.
To get a Kenyan coffee,
you can roast this to your desire. It's something that if you drink enough coffee, someone at work, I was like, you just get a roaster, man. It's so much easier. It feels satisfying to be able to do this, and it's fresh.
It's fresh, yeah.
Like you're not doing it. You're not waiting for the little foil can you open up. Because when I package this, I put them in foil bags that have a valve.
Yep.
And the valve is when it degasses, it actually produces a gas that makes it stale. So you can imagine that you put the coffee in the big tin that's sealed, and there's no way for it to vent. It's becoming stale as it's being made.
It's being,
Yeah, so you want to degas the beans to once they're roasted to be able to let those bad gases out.
Gases out, yes.
Yep.
Wow. So those are not just bags; it's a special bag with a vent that
you'll see vendors that will put them in just a nice Mylar bag or the nice foil bag, but there's no vent in it.
Yes.
And the bag looks nice. It serves its purpose. But if they didn't vent those gases after they roasted it, just stuck it in the bag,
stuck in the bag,
sealed it up, and put the label on it, they're making it bad from the start.
I agree. Yeah. And you buy anything like in Starbucks, they're so expensive.
Very. They're taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
I mean, more power to them, but they sell stuff very expensively at Starbucks and some of these places like Starbucks and what's the other one? It starts with a B. Big B. Big B. So these coffee places a lot of times will buy beans from Colombia or Brazil or whatever that are cheaper. Because it's near for transportation, whatever, they negotiate prices with them. But it's also and this is for people that would actually think about coffee roasting, is when you take your finished product, and let's say you made the roast too dark, where it's oily, they call it a Spanish roast.
Yes.
And you take that batch and like, now what am I doing this? It's gonna taste burnt when you grind it up and you use it. It might be okay for an espresso or something, but usually what companies will do is now they'll roast another batch.
Yes.
And they'll get that one a little bit lighter, a light roast. And they'll take that dark roast and that light roast and they'll blend it and say, here you go. Here's your coffee.
Yes.
Now the guy that, is up doing this small batch, he's going to make sure that roast, he's paying attention to it, that it's going to be the roast he wants.
The roast he wants, yes.
When it's time for it to come out. Because usually machines, you're listening for, like, it sounds like a popcorn.
Yes.
When it cracks. And that crack is when you're like, okay, the first crack is coming. Okay, now if I wait too long, it's going to turn black and oily and it's going to be Spanish roast. It won't be good.
Yeah.
You're going to taste the flavor profile that those particular berries, coffee, are bringing out, and that's where the science or a lot of times it's really just timing.
Yes.
Keep your eye on it. You don't walk away, and then when it's like maybe a pound takes you 27 minutes. That's it.
Yeah. No tea. You guys don't.
Tea. I don't.
Yes.
Because it's so readily available on Amazon.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's the problem with it. Yeah. It is. Like when I go there, I do bring a lot back, but I I get like the chai we had today. That those were tea bags off of Amazon.
And it was really good.
Kitepa.
You say your
They were
wife made
Kenyan
it?
chai. No, she told me to make it. I said I need to bring some chai, and I was like, I need a way to transport this hot tea
Yes.
to his place so that we can enjoy this.
We
while
can
we're
enjoy
doing
this, yeah.
And I'm
Thank
like,
you.
how do I do that? So I brought the Yeti. I put some warm water at first because I
Yeah.
had ice in it, and I got it a little bit warm.
Yep.
And then boiled the water, put the tea bags in there,
Yep.
and then I had some sugars in there.
Yep.
And then, mix it. Usually it's a 50-50. That's how chai is
Yeah.
made usually.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do this tangawizi tea. It's got a little ginger in it.
Yes,
And
I
it
know.
just tastes it tastes like that side of Mombasa, the coast where they put the spices in it. It's
Yes.
just over the top.
Yeah.
Those ones I don't think are on Amazon as much.
No.
Tangawizi.
Tangawizi, yeah.
But those ones, I do have those ones at home.
Yes.
Sourced from Kenya.
I don't know how much time you have. I had a couple questions that I had interest.
I'm all yours.
I'm curious. Is there a place in Kenya that you how should I frame this? Is there like a city or a place in Kenya that you prefer to live in, and is there a place that you'll be like, nah?
You said live, not like a day visit, right? For a week?
Not for a week.
So, honestly, as hoodish, slummy that Buru was, and like, I wouldn't say it was congested.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, 250,000 people in some square mile. Every once in a while I look to Google Earth and I look at my neighborhood. The same school I went to is still there.
Yeah.
From kindergarten, Wanjan Kim Comprehensive School. It's
Yes.
still there.
It's still there.
But those houses in that like 250,000 people is all middle class for the most part.
Yes.
So you weren't dealing with a bunch of rich people that thought that they were better than anyone else. Because that's my problem as well when you go to Kenya.
Yes.
Is you have a very high class of people
Yep.
that live in certain areas and they are just rude.
Yep.
They expect you to bend over backwards.
Yes.
And yeah, there's something, the term that I wrote on my notes, and you may or may not have ever heard this. It's called a KC, a Kenyan cowboy. Do you know what a Kenyan cowboy is?
No.
Think of this from colonial days.
Yes.
The Brits.
Yeah.
The Brits that been there generation after generation after generation. We know that still exists.
Yes.
The one that have acres upon acres
Of
of magic land that
yeah.
should be distributed back to people of Kenya.
Yes, there's a lot of
Their
them in
family has
Nakuru,
got
I think.
a handshake.
Yeah.
President Moy, Jomo Kenyatta, you take your pick.
Yeah.
So those people are like untouchables.
Yep.
And the Kenyan cowboys is what us Wazungus called them. Because as an American, I don't have, just an American. But the Kenyan cowboys that have been there for a long time, where that's kind of when I touched briefly on a white privilege.
Yes.
It's white privilege.
Yes.
And they will get away with things that normal people will not if they're not rich, because of who they know. But the Kenyan cowboys, the colonial days, generation after generation after generation, those people act as if they're still the colonial masters.
Yeah.
Those days are gone.
They are gone, yeah.
Those ideas, those thoughts should not be in your vocabulary, in your mannerisms, but they're there.
They're there, yeah.
And have you ever experienced that in Kenya at all?
Where-
or heard about it?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I've never experienced it because the area that I grew in, there wasn't a lot of those. There are, I think if you go to places like Naivasha, Nakuru, maybe in those areas, you'll find a lot of them. And it's good that you brought that because nowadays, actually, there's something that is trending online and Kenyans are really concerned because of we have a lot of Israelis coming in the country and buying tracts of land.
Yeah.
And people are worried about that. What is your take on that?
So when you said that, and then I was going flashbacking to some of these. I'm trying to think. The land that they call I know how to spell it. I can't say it. The conservancies.
Yes.
Where they have they have like a bunch of animals. They have some Maasai's on them, and it'd be like 400 hectares.
Yes.
A lot of land, square miles.
Yep.
And the KCs, as we'll call them, the special ones, will have this land given to them or was given to them back then. It was snatched by people. It was snatched from people.
From people,
That's the
yes.
reality of it.
Yeah.
They will pretend or, hey, but I'm helping, do this and I'm helping do that. And yeah, there's some that do that. I get it. But not everyone is doing that. They're just like, I'm untouchable. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Yeah.
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 Who's going to, what am I going to do? I'm just going to pay a bribe.
Yeah.
I mean,
unfortunately,
it comes back to that.
Yeah.
The bribery is there. But yeah, it's kind of like Israeli with land. And there's probably a secret handshake.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody knows a secret handshake. It's someone in the government that someone knows, and now the bribe has come and like, hey, we need some land, because for a very long time in the late 90s,
yes,
and early 2000s, Somalis were buying up land in Kenya, in Nairobi.
Yes.
And you're talking about like Eastleigh. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
Yeah, I know Eastleigh. I've been there.
Like 90%. Somalis.
It's Somalis,
and
yes.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying when the police don't want to go there,
yes,
there's something wrong.
Yeah.
It's a different form of untouchable. When you have like a whole area of like 1 million people,
yes,
that's untouchable.
Yeah.
Be like, okay,
so
if something happens, what are we gonna do? I don't know.
Right.
Are we gonna call the army in to help you with this?
Right.
The GSU. But yeah, the form of the, it's not colonialism anymore. It's called it's masked as something else.
Yes.
And that's my personal issue with it. That's my wife and I share those same views. Like we watch stuff that's going on in South Africa.
Yes.
And all the apartheid that went on for years. And we're seeing the displacement of Mzungus, whatever. They're now reacting as a why is this being treated like this? And I'm like, okay, I feel empathetic for you, but at the same time, like, you did this to yourselves.
Right.
This is a way of karma paying you back. Like maybe you didn't do this directly. Maybe your ancestors did this.
Yeah.
But this isn't.
Right.
Like this, I'm not saying it was meant to be, but this was probably what was going to happen eventually. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't feel bad for him.
Right. Right.
I was like, I don't. Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm wrong with that, but I just don't feel bad for him.
No, I don't either. I really don't. I have my strong opinions on that. It's only that I try to limit my opinion on these things because I'm in a foreign country.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. He wasn't talking in the moment. You bring that up. So, okay. That's a perfect example because I was telling my wife, and this was in the 80s.
Yes.
So you would receive a phone call from the U.S. every once in a while from a family member or usually a family member. It was my brother used to call after he graduated university. It was a 10-year difference between me and he's older. And he would call and my mom would tell us like, hey, just be careful what you say on the phone.
Yes.
And that carries, I was telling Jeremy, I said, it carries through today. Like I'm always worried about eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Whether it's through a text message or it's a phone call. Because in Kenya, it was a real thing.
Yes.
Like, we remember the Cold War, and you were hearing about these people between the U.S. and Russia and Germany, East Germany, and the people who were tapping the phone lines with no warrant or whatever. That stuff went on in Kenya in the 80s. It probably still goes on, where they listen to your phone conversation because it's an international.
Yes.
Someone's having to plug that wire physically in.
Yes.
It's no VoIP. There's no VPN. An operator is plugging your phone call in. That means that there's a recording device or someone is listening to your conversation.
Yes.
And under certain presidents, it was worse. Moy was one of them. Everyone was fearful of saying the wrong thing about him or his deputies or anyone else.
Yes.
It may have been a democracy, but it felt like a dictatorship at some times.
No, I agree. I mean, it was for the most part, to be honest.
And that was one thing I was trying to explain to someone. I said, you don't understand. Like, I know it's like just overthinking it, but when you're afraid your phone call is being listened to, because we know our mail was being tampered with. You get packages, whether it was taking stuff out, checks or money or whatever, like, hey, please don't send us cash. Ain't going to make it here.
It's not going to make it,
But when you have, like, over and over again, like, this one's got sellotape, scotch tape over it, someone's been in it.
Yep, somebody has opened it,
like, yeah, those are the things, like, you knew your mail was being monitored.
Yes.
Or it was someone was stealing out of it. Whatever the case is, it was being monitored. So
Yes.
he started to be like, even today, if I have something to mail, barua,
Yes.
I will not take that and put it in my mailbox outside by the street, by my house. I take it to the post office.
To the post office, yes.
I go
Same
inside,
here.
or I take it to that blue box outside that is like 50 feet from the entrance.
Yep.
I do not mail it.
Same here.
I'm like,
I
someone's
take it
going to
there, yeah.
steal it. Someone's going to take it. Someone's going to take my checks and forge them. I don't
Yep.
know.
You don't know. You can't know, yeah.
I still don't do it. He's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm driving to the post office. Leave me alone.
Hey, leave me alone. No, when it comes to the, to the those issues, and I wasn't sure you had taken, especially when it comes to like, the what you are calling the cowboys.
Yeah. Kenyan cowboys.
Kenyan cowboys
KCs.
and KCs, yes.
Because in my days, we were usually like, a lot of my classmates would go to these clubs and these restaurants, carnivore.
Yes.
And they would party, and the stories they would hear, like, these Kenyan cowboys are the elite.
Yeah.
And they would do whatever they want. And that was like, at the time, like, oh, that's pretty cool, It's
Yes.
like, you look at it like, no, really, it's not. It's post-colonialism.
It is post-colonialism. And I think one of the things that I talk about, or personally, if you ask me, there's a lot of suffering in Africa. But a lot of this suffering is a direct effect of colonialism. Just imagine people being displaced, because a lot of those lands, people were literally like forced out of it. And I was, before my grandfather passed on, I had a chance to talk to him. And I was asking him how they moved around. And, he told me about, like, during colonialism, they were literally like a whole village being put in a camp.
Like barbed wire or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
You put in a camp, and you cannot leave. To leave, you have to have like some sort of
Papers.
a permit, and you have to come by, by a certain time. So there was like so restricted. So already like everything that you knew was complete. And colonialism, how long did it go for? For many years.
Yes.
That's long enough to change people's perspective completely.
To accept that as normal.
Yes. So now, like, those effects are still going on. Now, a lot of times we hear, like, those cowboys say, oh, yeah, this land, nobody was here. We came in and took.
Yeah, no. There's a side story to that.
Yeah, there's like a side story. Yeah.
There's like a few YouTube videos I watched, and I like this Mzee, he's probably 80 something now.
Yes.
And he's got one of those, and I'm listening to him, and the lady interviewing him is from Kenya, but
It's probably Lynn. Lynn Gogi. Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
So she's interviewing this guy, and you can tell he's getting uncomfortable the questions she's asking. And she's not in his face, she's not angry.
Yeah.
But she's asking him questions that are very difficult.
Yes.
But it's good for the people. It's all this, like, you're rationalizing what you actually are doing or what happened.
Yes.
Maybe some of it's true, maybe it's not, because there were certain questions he could not answer.
Yes.
She pinpointed it, and he could not answer those questions honestly.
Yeah. Yes.
He diverted.
Yep.
He diverted those questions.
And when it comes like those conservancies you mentioned, they say they have these conservancies so that, Kenyans or Africans don't kill this animal. Forgetting that when actually the colonization started, Kenyans or Africans in general, they were living with these animals in complete harmony.
Yes.
They were hunting, like, for food.
What they needed.
What they needed. Yes.
They weren't poaching elephants and stripping, hey, we got a game drive. We'll charge this person $7,000 to come and shoot animals and take them back to where they came from.
Exactly.
They're not doing that.
They are not doing that. No. So all of a sudden, somebody like, containing, oh, yeah, we're protecting these animals. I think it's just a cover, because it's really like these people, and, you look at, like Europe, a lot of animals, extinct, right?
Yeah, they're gone.
Because they are gone. But we still have them in Africa. Why? Because they only, went for what they need for meal.
One of the questions you asked me on there, and you said opportunities or something that Kenyans, that, I don't know if they're missed opportunities, but they're overlooked. That right there, what you just said, is probably something that, wake up.
Yes.
This is going to be gone if you don't do something.
Yeah.
Because once they leave... If it is a source of money for your tribe or wherever your comfort, your area of Kenya, or South Africa, whatever country you want to say in Africa, that money is gone.
Yep.
There isn't going to be any more money. They stripped your land for what they wanted from it.
Yes.
The animals, Now we're talking Congo with rare earth.
Yep.
I hear this of the U.S. or China or whoever it is. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
A foreigner is coming in and they're like, hey, you so happen to have some cobalt.
Right.
What can we do for you? China is a perfect example in Kenya.
Yeah.
China, after the U.S. decided that they wouldn't USAID and all those people, like they're going to take a back seat to everything.
Yes.
That's your current president, your previous presidents. You can blame it on anybody you want. But Kenya is now like we just forgot about you. It's okay.
Yeah.
So now you have China come in and probably I think 2012, 2013.
Yes.
They put their foot in there. They put the foot in the door in Kenya.
Yes.
They did it in Tanzania. They did it in Ethiopia.
Yes.
And they said, hey, we don't want to tell you what we're going to take from you yet.
Right.
But we'll build you infrastructure. And we do it well. And we do it quick.
Yes.
And you now see roads in Kenya. Great. I admonish it like there's a highway literally above Uhuru Highway. There's another highway above it.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I went there 2018. I couldn't navigate. I was like, what has happened here?
Yes.
And I'm looking at this and I was like, it's such a great advancement.
Yes.
But at what cost?
At what cost, yes.
Who just paid the devil?
Yeah.
The devil got paid, and there's going to be something that's going to be missing. Some money. Hey, you know, like the Kenya Railway that the Brits built in the late 1800s, 1890, somewhere in there, that they, again, that's Kenyan chapter somewhere in there, but the Indians that helped them, indentured people, helped them build that railway from, to get to the coast to transport goods, probably tea. But those instances where the Brits, when they left, that railway system started to fail.
Yes.
It's still being used.
Yeah, it's still being used.
Used to take you when it was good, like 8 hours to get from Nairobi to Mombasa. It would do 8 o'clock p.m. You get there at it was take 12 hours.
Yes.
So 8 p.m. to 8 in the morning, you sit on this train. It was if you've never ridden the old,
I've never.
It is the most, it just puts you to sleep. It's probably the awesome thing.
Yes.
Very awesome. Anyways, it's narrow gauge. So narrow gauge means you got to go slower, otherwise the train is tipping over. So that's what the Brits built. It's I think 36 inches, something like that, or a meter wide.
Yes.
Something narrow.
Yeah.
So when the Chinese came in, they built a wider railway. And a couple inches makes the difference. Now the train, 4 hours, it's there. And, some passing lanes. I do admire that they actually put the railway system over a lot of these lands with animals. They built it over. Then you say, we're just going to build it through.
Yeah.
Here's the highway.
Yep.
They built it. Built the aqueducts or whatever, the bridges for the trains over, so that you didn't interfere with migrations and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now it's like the Chinese aren't so quick to leave.
Yeah.
They want to be there so they can control it. Do you think some Kenyans are being trained? Job opportunities, that's the thing. The job opportunities that could have been created.
Could be,
and that's, I think, what they were told. If I go back to those videos, they were told that we'll train some people,
Yeah.
The saddest thing I hear or heard was that you have areas in Nairobi that the Chinese completely dominate. They're over the world.
Yes.
So it's not KCs. It's Chinese.
Yeah.
And if you're a Kenyan, you're not getting in there. You're not going in there.
Wow.
You're in trouble. They have their own police system. How do you? How that's an untouchable.
Yes.
How do you do that
that's
in a foreign
problem.
country? You think there's a police station in China for Americans? Do you think there's a little
for Kenyans?
And
no.
that's where you say the post-colonialism. There's a different word for it. You can call it whatever you want, but it's still
the neocolonialism
a version of it.
Yeah.
Where we tell you how it's going to be, take it or leave it, or we come in as a sheep.
Yes.
And, it's a wolf, and in fact, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I wonder, because you would think that there has to be some level of control over African leaders, because sometimes I don't get it why they're not able to negotiate a fair deal for their countries. There had to be something that they're not able to control, because I don't get it.
So some of that is, unfortunately to say, is literally you'll hear stories where, and this still happens,
yes,
Middle East, Africa, where certain governments, they put a regime in
Yes.
for their own purposes. They put those, let's say it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
That government leader, that president, that dictator, whatever it is not left to fend for himself.
Yep.
He doesn't know what to do.
Yes.
But he knows, I have some resources. I have some money. I can make some money quick.
Yes.
I'm going to take that money. I'm going to go to Switzerland, or I'm going to go to UK. I'm going to go somewhere where they can't touch me, whatever. I'm going to pay security, whatever. They leave.
Yep.
They leave with the money, and you're not touching them.
You're not touching them, yeah.
No. There's something you did say about colonialism and foreigners, and this, I'm not asking your age, but this took place in 93, 94, Rwanda.
Yeah, I was born, yeah. But I didn't
Small.
understand anything.
So
Yeah.
at the time, when I say this, most people don't grasp it. But during that time, there was the Belgians colonized Rwanda, in case you didn't know that.
Yes.
Hutus and Tutsis. One of those tribes was favored more than the others by the Belgians when the Belgians were in colonial power.
Yes.
So once the Belgians left, things like let's fend this out ourselves. The Hutus and Tutsis will figure out how to live in harmony. We hope. And someone just started doing propaganda. When that propaganda reached a level,
Yes.
and slaughtering started happening.
Yeah.
500,000 people, 30 days.
Perished.
The world stood by and watched.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, there was the Secretary of State was Madeleine Albright. She happened to be, I believe, Albanian. What did we do in Albania and all those countries surrounding that area when they were having the same Kosovo, Serbia? We helped them.
Yes.
Why didn't we help Rwanda? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is a connection.
Yeah.
But we stood by and watched that happen.
Yes.
The UN did, the Belgians did, the Americans did, the whole world watched it. And I'm just like, and you look at that tragedy, but you look at Rwanda now, and it's like gone completely the opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
It is a flourishing country.
Yep.
Textiles, you name it. I don't think they've sold their soul to the devil
at all.
I don't think they have.
Yeah.
And hopefully they never do.
I hope they
or
never
to anybody.
do. Yeah.
I don't care if it's to China, the U.S., whoever. Just don't sell Just don't sell out. That's the best thing you can do, because you have enough talent, you have enough, minds that you can do this together. I guess the one thing I appreciate about Kenya the most is that during the tenure that we were there from the 80s to the 90s,
yes,
is that Kenya, you read about it in the news where some violent clashing here and there, a little bit of this, elections were hairy at times, people didn't win, so people started fighting, throwing stones in the street and killing people.
Yes.
But the thing that is like, why do you go to Kenya? I was like, it's actually the most stable country in all of that East Africa.
Yes.
They're the ones that haven't gone through civil war. They haven't had like a person, like a dictator, for 20 some years.
Yeah.
You can call Moi what he was, but Moi did a lot of good things.
He did,
was
yeah.
there after Jomo Kenyatta.
At least we had free milk.
Yeah. So there's lots of good things that Moi did, but you had Museveni, you had Idi Amin, you had all these people surrounding countries that just their leadership destroyed it.
Yeah.
And is some of that blamed on colonialism? Yes, it most definitely is. But there's some of it where it's just like you're only interested in yourself.
In yourself,
and
yes.
You're a me.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem that no one, so like if you can put a regime in a country, like the Americans do, as other people do,
yes,
because it serves your purposes, why can't you put a regime in that would have taken care of Museveni or taken care of Idi Amin? Why didn't you do anything then?
Right.
Because it didn't serve your purpose.
Yep.
Until it serves your purpose, you have no reason. You don't have. I don't want this.
Yeah.
So you just leave it out.
Yeah.
And that's where you said it earlier about the mindset of just that's the normalcy.
Yes.
So that's where coming back to like Kenyans that are abroad, Nigerians that are abroad, anybody that's abroad that sees this from afar and sees it as a outside picture inwards.
Yeah.
needs to make that connection and say, no more.
Yes. Yes.
We have to try.
Yes.
We have to give this a valiant effort to be able to not let this happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's to be honest, if I never came to the United States, I would never have seen a lot of things. I will, like, right now, I'm a complete different person from how I came here. Now, after experiencing how life is in the United States and just seeing how things function, and now I look back and I start making this connection, and all of a sudden I'm realizing, okay, this and that doesn't make sense. This could be better, and that could be done in different. And if there's one thing that I've learned in the United States, there's a lot of things that I've really learned about the United States. But if there's one thing that I've learned is about, I like how here even the local governments, like
City Hall,
the city hall, and all those, like how they function. For America, they may not appreciate it because they haven't seen anything worse than that, right?
Very true. You might complain about it, but you've never seen what it really could be.
Yes. So that is like I've seen, like, man, like things could be better.
Functional.
It's functional, right?
And good things can happen.
And good things can happen. And it just having like a system. Since Guinea, I get really mad when I see people even when they go to vote. And I know it also happens here. It's like, why will somebody want somebody like to give you like $20 or $200 and then all of a sudden to get a cool, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you are losing so much more by doing that. Yeah. But they don't know anything better.
There's no difference.
Yeah. So me going back to Kenya, you think I would do that? Sitafanya hivyo. And if I were to become an MP or even like a councillor or whatever name you call them, or governor, I'm telling you, I'll do things completely different. Unfortunately, the workforce, I work on a different perspective from me, so that still will probably be a problem. Yeah, because majority of them,
the normalcy for them is not what you see from the outside eyes inwards.
Exactly. Yeah. So there will have to be a lot of like helping people really learn. Yeah. And one thing I think that I'm always hopeful is that I think with now social media, I think with the new generation, I think their minds are different because they have more exposure. Yeah. Back then, wakati wetu, you only have like TV, maybe when I watch TV, KBC, right? Yes. So you really never see the world beyond.
No. Well, quick note on that, like the KBC, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, and Kenya Television Network, KTN, were probably the two channels, but first KBC was on when we came in the 80s, and that was totally government propaganda.
Yes.
Not Iranian, but it was totally, like nothing approved, didn't get said on the radio, didn't get said on TV. Yeah. At the beginning of the day, at probably usually 4 p.m. I don't know when KBC came on a certain time. Like it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It was like 4 o'clock, I think. Yeah. When the programming started, and then it ended at like midnight or 2 o'clock. Yes. And then later it was on a weekend. But KBC was monitored very, very heavily. The government had to know what you were putting out there, and if you, God forbid, you said something wrong, hope that someone just leaves the country. Or is fired, is sacked, something, because there was a no-no. You didn't say what the president didn't approve. The news always would be like, President Moy today has done this, and he's done this for da-da-da. It was a very propaganda. Yes. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's different than what you see here in the U.S.
It was all about like Moy. He was like, alienda kwa kanisa, he went to church, then after church, he went to do this fundraising.
He didn't usually fall asleep like Biden or Trump does.
No,
at least we didn't see a picture of Moy. Yes. So those are things, he's making his rounds and he's doing these things. And I remember when this was like 1985, 86. My parents were getting a piece of land, 4 acres in Umoja. Yes. It was way before it was heavily developed. We had 4 acres of land. Moy was coming. The president was coming to present this land to the mission organization my parents worked for, CEF, and it was a big deal. Like the president just doesn't come to your place to present you the piece of land. So he came. We waited. I know he showed up 2, 3 hours, 4 hours late, whatever. But the president comes when he wants to come. There's no he'll be there. Or maybe he won't. So he came. He presented the land. you know, and that was that.
Yes.
And even now today, those 4 acres
Hmm.
have grass on them. There's maybe a few buildings.
Yes.
And it looks odd when you look at it on Google Earth because everything else is just developed.
Developed,
There's just building everywhere, just
Yeah.
apartment buildings and things like that.
Mm.
They didn't have the money to do all that, but they also just like, we're not gonna, you know,
Right.
they could have sold the land probably. But
Right.
Yeah.
What is you know, something that you like, you know, to talk to the people in the diaspora who are of African descent and who have, you know, come here? A lot of times, we get challenged by, you know, you migrated and now we are here. Sometimes people want to move back, but also people are wondering, like, going back is so difficult because of the situations there, you know. And, you know, so do you have any advice for people in general?
So that is a very good question because it does take a certain mental, because if you grew up there and you know, you're basically saying, do I want to do this for myself? Do I want to do this for my family? Do I want to put them do I want to put my world back into that?
Yeah.
And sometimes the life we've lived here or the life that has developed for us, and I put this perspective because I was like, I would love to live in Kenya. That would be my goal. I would love to do that. So I can't just go there because I'm an Mzungu. Usually the correct path is to have the papers that has, I have a degree in X, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm something like that, that someone else in Kenya does not have. There's a reason. If you got 50% unemployment, you're taking away someone's job. So you don't have a special degree that maybe someone in Kenya doesn't have. Now you're going back and you're taking their job. I'm talking about from the Mzungu person.
Yes.
If you're from Kenya and you've gone to school here and you've gotten all your papers, that's the one, you're going to need all that for your red tape to get back in there and get a job anyways.
Yes.
You have that. You got to push your mental status to like, this is going to be my life. And it might be a culture shock for you if you've never visited. That might be the first thing. But the amount of things that have changed from the 80s to now is vastly different. Like some of the stuff that we couldn't get when we were kids, we had to wait 4 years, or someone had to send us a care package. It might be simple as potato chips or Heinz ketchup.
Yes.
You can get that at the store now. You can get that at the shops. There is no like, you can get the same stuff.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, it might be about the same price as what you pay here or more.
Or more, yeah.
But the worst part of that is that you're not making as much money, or so it doesn't seem. So that's the part of where would you stay? What would your housing be like?
Yes.
Would you stay with the Buruburu? Would you stay in Burunda?
Right.
You know, there's a vast difference in how much it costs.
Yes.
I think we were paying like $100 a month for rent for 15 years, then it went up to $200 in the last 5 years.
Wow.
A place like Brunda in the 90s was $1,000 a month.
Wow.
$1,000 a month.
Is that in dollars or
That
Kenyan
was in
shillings?
dollars.
Wow.
So you can go from $100 to 1,000, and 1,000 is cheap. Now those same places, and all these, mind you, are by the American Embassy, the German School, Village Market, and those are the places that in Kileleshwa was another one.
Yes.
But those places, because there isn't as many houses and development, Israeli may be buying land up and doing this because the Somalis did it.
Yes.
And when you have a shortage of land and you have a shortage of properties, that just increases it, just like we see here.
Yep.
And so now you're like, okay, how much is it going to cost me, my family, to live comfortably? Maybe there's some stuff we can do less with. You know, you have the internet, you have wireless. That stuff you have it.
Yes.
That wasn't available in the 80s and 90s.
No,
you
it
have
was
all
not,
that stuff,
yeah.
and sometimes the services are better there than they are here and cheaper.
Yeah.
But there's certain things like, how do you do with your health care? What do you do with your job? Your source of income is probably the thing you really have to.
Yes.
Don't just, hey, we're going to move. And you have to figure that out before you go.
Yeah.
And make sure that is lined up. Have some savings for, here we sometimes live paycheck to paycheck and don't think anything about it. If you live paycheck to paycheck there's no unemployment. There's no checks coming for that. There's you're on your own.
Yeah, yeah,
Unless you
yeah.
got some family, you're on your own.
No, I agree.
And you got to have a support system.
Yes.
But it's probably the best thing you could probably do if you're feeling the itch. If you're feeling like you could make a difference or you could help somebody there.
Yes.
Maybe you end up in government. I don't know. You do a whole shift change.
Right.
You know, can you start a business there that no one else has, or can you start a business make money? Because there's a lot of businesses that start up in Kenya, technology now. They're doing, what was the city they're coming up with, the Silicon Valley equivalent?
It's called a Konza city.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's going to, that's going there. And there's certain things that anybody that's from Kenya that has maybe a specialty degree or something can definitely make a difference in Kenya.
I agree. I think that it's for me, as speaking as as a Kenyan who is living in the United States, sometimes I will desire that I go back.
Yeah.
Because I'm closer to family. Because I'm the only person in my
here.
Yeah, here. I know I have a lot of friends here, but from my family, I'm the only person. So, my mom, my siblings, they are back there, and you miss them, See, I sometimes I feel I'm missing a lot of their, things that we could be doing together. But part of it, not just the family, sometimes as an immigrant here, especially depending on which administration is here.
Correct. Good choice.
Right. And there's a pressure that comes in. I'm like, man, less freedom, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would not be going through this if I was in Kenya, right?
Ease of life.
Yeah, exactly. But then I'm also thinking about economic-wise.
Yes.
Like what you're saying, I have to think about, okay, what will my income be like? How will I be able to provide? And so you find people sometimes being in this really bad middle where they're being pulled on this side. And I don't know, sometimes it's just better to decide I'm staying here and forget about Kenya and forget about everything. And
it's happened.
Yeah,
it was just like, I remember when you say that just now, I remember some guy, his name was Pita, and we were going to go into Harambe.
Yes.
But he had secured a green card or something, a visiting visa. I don't remember.
Yes.
This is in the 90s. And so his family, we do in Kenya, is we create what I call a Harambe. And it's like a going away party, but it's also a fundraiser. The fundraiser is the main thing.
Yeah.
So everybody comes to you. You invite everybody. You're hoping that they come and they bring their pockets with them.
Yes.
So that you can provide to send one of your own back to Kenya.
Yes.
Whether it's for airfare, college, whatever, fees, something, money. We're trying to fundraiser, and that's kind of like what do they call that here? GoFundMe or something.
Maybe GoFundMe.
Yeah,
which is an online thing.
So Kenya had this down way before.
Oh, way before, yeah.
So Harambes are what we do, like a GoFundMe, but GoFundMe, you don't know those people.
You don't know,
These with Harambes, you know these people.
Yeah.
So you would get invited to those, and you would, provide some money, whether it was 20 shillings, it was 1,000 shillings, whatever you had in your pocket. Usually, the more you put in the pocket, the better you looked, and the maybe you got some more meat on your palau plate or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got an extra serving, but your expectations that you were going to be there and you were going to provide something.
Yep.
Because it's not just, and again, it's not a me society, because guess what? You now might need the same situation 6 months, a year, 2 years from now.
Yep.
And do you think that anyone's going to give it a second thought? No, because it's normal.
It's normal, yep.
Where you do the Harambe.
Yep.
And so you get here, and this Peter guy, I remember taking him to the airport with his family, and his mom gave him like a Rivatex blanket, and it's one of those gray with the, I don't know if you call it a Rivatex blanket, but it's really the blanket you take to boarding school.
Yes.
The gray ones.
Yep,
The company that makes them is Rivatex. That's why they call it a Rivatex blanket.
Okay.
So things you learned today, David. So anyways,
I'm learning some new stuff from you. Yeah. You're more Kenyan than next.
Yes. So you take this Rivatex, and he said, mami, está aqui o blanket tu conazo US. Tapado tu ingine. He's like, I'm going to get one there. Don't worry about it. I don't need this Rivatex blanket.
Yeah.
It was like a camping. I was trying to describe the Revatex blanket. It was a camp. It was scratchy. It was wool.
Yes.
It was something you'd go camping, or you wouldn't. You know what? Actually, when you pack your vehicles here, a U-Haul blanket, and you put them over there to keep your stuff from getting scratched and broken, that's what a Revatex blanket is. A U-Haul blanket. It's a perfect thing. Maybe,
Yes,
that's what a Revatex blanket is. So Peter was just like, mommy, don't just leave me. I don't want this.
Yes.
And so then he comes to the States, and I follow him on Facebook, and I just see, like, I want nothing to do with Kenya.
Yes.
And that was his attitude.
Yes.
Now, something happened because this dude ends up back in Kenya. I don't know if he's karatasi, the ishad, his papers, they stopped,
Yes.
or he was out of school or something, but he's back in Kenya. He's doing those business for the kitungi for the mafuta piga gas.
Yeah.
So he sells LP gas now.
Yes.
That's his business. Now, whether that was his choice or not, I don't know.
Yes.
But he's there.
Is there? Yes.
And then, so something about, you said something earlier, and I had this thought. I just clicked on an article today.
Yes.
Our current administration, God help them, was that my wife, my current wife, I mean, we'll leave that for another time, but my current wife was born in Kendu Bay, which is over there by Kisumu.
Yes.
So her birth certificate says, born in Kenya, she has a Kenyan birth certificate.
Yes.
She's born to two Americans, Georgia. I will just say they're both from Georgia. They're from the South.
Yes.
Missionaries.
Yeah.
So she has a piece of paper that says American citizen born abroad to go with her papers.
I say yes.
She has a U.S. passport.
Yeah.
She has a driver's license.
Yes.
She has all those papers.
Yeah.
So this article I'm reading with our current administration that says citizen birthright is to be challenged is saying if you weren't born in this country,
yes,
you don't qualify to be an American citizen. So, and those are the small things. Like, does the government really not think of those things through before they put this stuff on paper? There are people born abroad. Their parents are American citizens.
Yep.
And I think it's kind of the whole thing like, well, if your parents migrated here and you were born here, it doesn't make you an American. And I'm thinking, is that the mentality that we've switched? Think that. So I'm thinking, okay, so am I now going to be worried about her getting her papers removed? Now we have to go back to Kenya? I mean, we're halfway there because she already has Kenyan birth certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it can be like really annoying, and sometimes it's just trying to meet a campaign promises, but some of those promises I'm like, man, does it have to be this stressful? Probably can be, I don't know, you can bear witness with me that if there are people who go through a lot of struggles are immigrants.
Yes.
They're like, we go through a lot. You come as language, culture, like so much.
Yep.
So if there are people who are really resilient and the last thing they want is something more trouble-hearted on them, that especially if it is very artificial, like being manufactured from thin air, it's just very sad.
Well, I just, and I think of this as just, these thoughts are just coming to me. That's the way I am. But let's say you've given immigrants difficulties for coming here.
Yes.
A lot of these people aren't looking to live here illegally. They're looking to do through the channels.
Yeah.
As I can firsthand explain to you this with my first wife, who's from Kenya.
Yes.
Of the difficulties that I went with whatever they called it, INS, ISDHS, whatever they called it at that point in the early 2000s.
Yes.
Of the difficulties to get your papers in the first place is a joke.
Yeah, I know.
This government, and that time was the Bush administration, it's not Trump, whatever, but it's seriously the immigration reform that every administration that's been in the White House that keeps on talking about, it needs to happen.
Yes. Because
what you're doing is you're like, sitaki kusumbuliwa na hizi ujinga. But it is stupidness that you're being difficult with.
I know.
And so you're doing that to the point where like you actually might have someone that you really wanted here. Like, you know what? I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
And now you're losing that opportunity. you're making them pay for a visa.
Yeah.
These certain things, or you're making them pay for a visa abroad. That, like in your story, you're paying this fee, you won't get it back.
You
if
don't
you
get
don't
back
pass,
back. Yeah.
it's in our pocket.
Yes.
And the same thing. Well, because you're a doctor, we'll let you come here, but we want you to pay more now.
I know.
Those immigrants are what makes America great. The diverse cultures that come in.
Yes.
The diverse people that have different backgrounds, that have had different lifestyles. A doctor that's only associated with people in America only knows of certain diseases that are here.
That's true.
You bring a doctor from Kenya, you bring a doctor from India, you bring a doctor from somewhere else.
Yes.
And let's say you have an outbreak of a disease that came from one of those countries. Do you think your doctors here are going to be able to help you?
No,
They're not.
No.
They're not even familiar with these diseases.
Yeah.
So now you have, hey, guess what? The doctors left. They went back to India. They went back to Kenya because you kind of like made them. It's kind of like Idi Amin.
Yeah.
All his Indians left. The country economy down the hill.
Yeah.
And now they want them back. Oh, we saw the purpose of the immigrants. We saw the purpose of them.
Yeah.
Now we want them back. Well, sometimes it's too late for those things.
Yeah. I know.
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely, yes. No, I agree. Somebody wrote a comment here. What they say? I am African who was raised in Germany, and no Germany would offer me an interview just because of that. Wow. Wazungu wanapendwa. Maybe this came when we were having a particular conversation. Maybe it's connected to that.
Casey's?
Maybe yes. It could be that
so
one.
The guy that was in Germany?
Yes, so he's an African who was raised in Germany.
Yep.
And no Germany would offer me
a job or interview?
An interview just because of the. I don't know if they mean that because they are Africans.
So I have a guess on that, and
Yes.
it may be an unfortunate guess. Sometimes these places that look at an interview have never seen you.
Yes.
But they look at your name on your CV, your resume.
Yes.
And they're like, I can't be bothered. I know where this is going to go. They don't even give you an opportunity.
No.
They don't know who you are. They don't know your skills. You might be better than the rest of the 10 candidates that they had before you.
Yes.
They don't know you. And that's an unfortunate part that the company, but also there's a positive to this.
Yes.
If he's going to places that won't interview him or won't be bothered, those are probably places you do not want to work for in the first place.
Yes.
That's the positive I can bring to you on that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But could your name change be? It could have been that. It could have been as simple as that. Like, I don't want to be bothered. I don't understand his name, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And even in my own life, like my kids have some Kenyan names and they have my last name, which is White, whatever.
Yes.
Hewer. And their first names are English. So them having those names and that, and even if the color of their skin, no one's going to know until they meet them.
They meet them, yes.
That there is an advantage to that, but it's not fair that it's a real thing. But at the same time, when you have someone that has a foreign name,
yes,
their chances are less.
They are less,
unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. They are.
But again, it's maybe something you don't want to be for in the first place if you're
That's true,
not going to be accepted for your talents, not you as a person, your color of your skin, the name, whatever.
Yes. No, I agree. Man, we've been here for quite some time. My body is so.
Hey, Dakika.
We still have 3 people watching. But man, this has been great. Let's see if there's anything that is burning. Is there?
There's one story I want to say that before.
Yes, I'm going to ask you if there's something that you would like to share. Please go ahead.
So there was this happened in 99, 98, somewhere in there. I was out of high school. I was living with mom and dad. I was doing work for them and stuff. And we had our Mazda 323 station wagon. It's whatever. You can look it up and find it. And anyways, then there were some missionaries that had gone back to New Zealand, and they had a Land Rover Discovery. So those are expensive. And all aluminum. Most of the cars are in the world, and even nowadays, are not made out of aluminum. There's a lot more now, but usually it's metal. So you just take if you get a fender bender, get body damage, you just take your car to a normal body shop and they fix it.
Yes.
Well, the aluminum ones are not. You have to take it to a special one that has the special welding gases to fix it. So the story goes like this. My dad comes home, and he was out doing something by himself, and he was in that Land Rover Discovery. And so I don't know, I put the accent back on, the Land Rover Discovery. But he was going to a roundabout traffic circle. He didn't have the right of way. He tried to go into the traffic circle to get to the other side, and traffic stopped. So now there's a matatu that came and smacked into the back of him. He was at fault.
Man. Yes.
And so then he came home and he was telling me there's a guy that's going to, because mind you, they still didn't speak Swahili at this, they didn't speak Swahili.
Yes, by then,
so he said someone's going to call the phone number in like a half hour, and he's going to go through like where they want to meet to go to the body shop to fix the Land Rover, or not really the Land Rover, but this guy's matatu.
Yes.
And he was angry about it. I was like, he just was angry that it happened. He didn't know what was coming to him next. And so then a half hour came, and the guy called the phone. I answered the phone. And this is kind of the conversation. It was like, Aya, semaniaje. And the guy's like, wacha nikwambie kitu. Yule mzungu najua haikuwa shida yake, but nataka kumgonga tumtoe pesa. So basically the guy was saying, after I did my introduction to him, he still didn't know who I was. I didn't identify myself. He just thought I was a translator.
Yeah.
And he said, he's like, I know the guy it wasn't really his fault because I was speeding and I hit him.
Yes.
But I want to make him pay. Like, he's going to pay for stuff that's not even damage to the vehicle.
Yes.
And he said it in like a jokingly way, like, really? And I didn't let him know.
Yeah.
I thought this would be funny.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to tell this guy he's my dad.
Yes.
I was like, I got off the phone. My dad's like, what? Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, go ahead, don't worry. Let's go. So we got in the car, and we get to the body shop, and my dad was just furious. He had a very quick temper.
Yes.
And I said, the guy shows up, and he, at first he's like looking around to see an African with us, with a Kenyan.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see when he comes up. He's like, so where's the guy I was talking to on the phone? Oh, me. So he just realized that his con was not going to happen.
It's going to happen, yeah.
It's game over. So we looked at my dad and I looked at the car now that, it was nobody's watching. There's no people around. And this guy had a broken windshield, cracks in the windshield with dirt in it. Like, this didn't just happen 2 hours ago. This happened months ago.
Yeah.
And, like the mirror somehow magically went from the side and all the way up to the smacked it in the front. Like, yeah, okay. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And so he just he just dropped it and left. Well, my dad was mad the whole time. And that's where, coming back to, it's like, if you see an opportunity to make some money, you take the chance.
Yeah.
It's always an opportunity to take a chance.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, the guy maybe needed to have some school fees, or he needed to pay the policeman for his matatu route. I don't know.
Yep.
But he was looking to get some money, and he didn't get any that day. But he was very my Swahili is. It's been a long time since I've been there. It's still good.
Yeah,
but I don't practice it enough because I'm not surrounded by Kenyans in Holland, in Hamilton.
Right.
I got to go to Grand Rapids if I want to see any Kenyans, or Kansas City, because there's a lot there.
Yes.
And so he just knew that there was someone, kawaida, the real OG Kenyan was on the phone. It was me. So there's been circumstances in my life where it's been a very huge advantage to be able to communicate with Wananichi or whoever, negotiations, so that you can fit in and blend in. Like, if I went there right now, I'd feel comfortable in going and blend in, not a problem.
Yes.
No one's taking advantage of me. You know, I might know that, hey, it's time to leave,
Yes.
but I'm not being taken advantage of. And that's something that your immigrants that have left Kenya, and there are things that you need to prepare yourself for, that those are what's
Yes.
the normalcy life. It's not a bad thing.
Mm.
It's just that's expected. That's what's normal. That's how life is. If you can't get over that,
Yep.
maybe you shouldn't go back.
No, I agree. I agree. No, I agree. And as we finish, one of the things that a thought came to me the other day was that, what if the people in the diaspora were actually like messengers?
Say that one more time.
If actually we are like messengers
Okay.
in this aspect, that we may think I came here to study, right?
Yes.
And end up like staying.
Yep.
But what if it was more than that? What if it was like, for me, an opportunity actually being sent here so that I can gather some knowledge and send it back?
Correct.
I could send it back by talking to Kenya and telling them that, hey, by the way, America sio vile tu naionanga.
Yep. You can't see the U.S. the way you think you
Yes,
do.
yes.
Yeah.
And then I can say, actually these are the way things are. And hey, by the way, you know that this thing you are taking for granted, like the sun.
Yep.
Having the sun every day, sometimes we don't, Americans don't get it all
Especially
the time.
in Michigan.
Right. and like, hey, that farming you are taking for granted, actually is, it's pretty good. Like, actually, like if you bring that food
Soil.
here, it'll be like very expensive.
Yeah.
Just so that's what I'm saying. What if we are messengers such a way that we are, kind of a source of channel to educate people? And
so that makes you a perfect example. Your opportunities that, let's say, that other people, countries, post, pre-colonialism, whatever you want to call it, have taken advantage of in the past or the present. Those are some of the opportunities now you seeing that they're making this money or making these opportunities exist.
Yes.
It's time to go home and grab them.
Yeah, I agree.
Not badly. What's rightfully yours, grab it and take it and exceed with it.
Yeah.
Succeed,
yeah.
make it go better.
Yeah,
Make it, do it something better. If it's a conservancy, it's a wildlife, whatever. There's a way to make it work without someone making this all about themselves that never should have had this land in the first place.
Yeah.
They had it grabbed, whatever it is. And there's some that are like legitimately there, but some of it's just someone land grabbed.
I know. Yeah. Probably the biggest person. And hey, sometimes, the current Kenyans who are there, or Africans in general, some things maybe happen when you are not born yet.
Yeah.
But if there are things that you can participate and prevent, especially if there are issues of injustice, people need to step up, speak up, and do it. We have heard some people that I heard, I'm not going to mention names, but what they'll do is they'll cause a disaster.
Yep.
Like a fire, like burn tracts of land. And then people flee. So then what happens? The land becomes really cheap, and then they buy it.
For cheap.
Oh, yeah, for cheap. Yeah. Or they mess up like a dam, and then carry so many homes. Some people maybe die.
Yep.
People can return. They take that land and they buy it for cheap. So be aware of this. I will speak for Kenya, as I'm from Kenya. Be aware of these frontline people, and if you don't stand up for yourself, nobody gonna stand up for you.
Nobody's gonna do it for you.
Nobody gonna do it for you. So, maybe one last thing that I'll ask you about is Kenya wengi wakiwa na wazungu, they take them in a whole different level.
Yes.
Like ni kama sijui ni kama nini Mungu.
They think of like a god.
Please, yes. What do you want to say about it? Can you say something about that?
I can say something like that was probably one of the, I guess, sometimes it was like, your parents are struggling to do their work, their mission work.
Yes.
But yet you have people that are trying to take advantage of them or ask for everything. And it sometimes was like, my parents are like, we just need to train, get the teachers effectively trained, the pastors effectively trained, and then we leave.
Yes.
That was the utmost goal. But then it happened for 20 years. But so that was the ultimate goal. But sometimes it's just like you just keep on taking and keep on taking. And I also believe that it's because people don't know how to say no.
Yes.
On the other end, the giving side, they don't know how to say no. Because what they're trying to accomplish, they know that if they keep on giving, they'll get their way eventually.
Yes.
It sounds like a business transaction.
Yeah.
But it's very similar to a business transaction. That's exactly what's going on.
Yes.
The human mind, whether, however you want to look at it, is very similar, wired no matter the situation.
Yes.
It's what's happening.
Yeah.
So I guess sometimes you just wanted to be a normal person and not be observed through a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
That happened so much that it was annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine, yeah.
I just want to put a different skin on it.
Right. Like you just want to be you and, it's kind of like the way here, like, we get looked at with racism, which is really annoying.
Yep.
It's like, why can't you just, why do you have to look at my skin color? But, even as a person, why do you have to look at that? But like, for you, like, I can imagine, like, trying to live in this society and everybody maybe try to get something out of you.
Yeah.
That can be, like, really annoying. So, for Kenyans or other Africans, if you see a Mzungu, they have their own struggles. They're dealing with their own things. So,
I don't know.
The best thing you can do is try to get to know them. If there's something you can learn from them, well and good. Let them learn from you and you learn from them. But mzungu tu ni mwanadamu. And I think they also want to be treated to kama mwanadamu, sio mtu tu wa,
they're the same blood.
Yeah, same. So, but man, Josh, we have clocked more than 2 hours. And it has been fun. I think we could keep talking about season of Africa, but
so when he shuts the microphones and the cameras off, we might still continue talking, and so you're on your own. Till the next one.
Yeah, till the next one. But thanks for those who stayed, and commented and supported this stream. I'm happy that Josh was okay with live streaming. Not everybody wants that.
It's like, bring it.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. Coming out of the way from him. Is it him?
Yeah, Hamilton.
40
minutes.
Yeah. Sometimes I struggle. Have been here like for more than 10 years. There's still some words I struggle.
Thing. The H's, the R's.
Yes.
And depending on what tribe you're from, it's even harder.
Yep. I know.
Yep.
So everybody, thank you so much for watching Msafiri Podcast. Again, if you need the coffee beans, please reach out to me and I'll connect you with JJ, so you can get your original Kenyan coffee, the best. So reach out to me, DM me, or just message me, or comment in the comment there you want some, and then I'll connect you with him, and then you'll get your package. And also we are selling merchandise. So if you want to support the channel, you can go there. We are making shirts. They are you order them on demand and then they get made and shipped. We'll continue adding more designs. So in the future, expect to see, new stuff in there. But if you want, to wear something Kenyans or just something with their logo, or you just want to support the channel, please go there and check out. If you want to start a podcast, I am open to helping people get started. But I would love to charge something a little because, I also need to drink tea once in a while. So check out the details there in the website. If you think it's too expensive, there's a form you can fill in and we can work with your budget. But if you want to start a podcast, stop putting it aside. We need more voices, right? Yeah. I can't cover everything. We need more voices. So I'll be there to help. And subscribe, like, and share.
Perfect.
So for now, thanks again, Josh, for coming.
I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and for sharing all the great ideas, all the laughs. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much.